The 28th meeting between the two institutions. Not only a season opener, but a very important game because it's a Western Athletic Conference game. I'm Jim Lawwill, along with Gary Ness. And Gary, I know both ball clubs are really pumped up and ready to go.
Well, you would be if you'd played on this team the last 2 years. The loser of the Utah-New Mexico game the last 2 years has averaged 46 points. So there's been a lot of exciting things happen on the field in this particular game.
Barry Garrison, a standout at El Dorado High School. He's homegrown, a fifth-year man. He's paid his dues, and tonight he gets the nod. He'll start at quarterback for New Mexico.
Barry Garrison, who has all the mechanics, is finally getting his shot at leading his team. And I think he's ready for this. He knows there's a lot of responsibility involved, and it's his turn.
When you talk about the University of Utah, you talk about Eddie Johnson. Leads the university in career rushing yards. He can go catch the ball. Honorable mention All-American last year. All-Western Athletic Conference. He makes the Utah offense go.
Well, he sure does. And the Lobo defense under new director Jack Stanton has the job of containing Eddie Johnson. You're not going to stop Eddie Johnson. What you want to do is contain him. Don't let him break a long one for the big score.
Mike Shepard is the new head coach at the University of New Mexico, and Gary, he's a gambler. He likes to run and gun. He'll throw it 3rd down and 1. He likes to put the points on the board.
Well, he's trying to maximize what he has. And in Terrence Mathis and Al Owens, he's got some quick receivers. Barry's got a good arm. But the big improvement to look for tonight is the defense, the containing defense.
All right, it's the University of New Mexico and the University of Utah. Their 28th meeting. Everybody's pumped up and ready to go. Stay tuned, everybody. Up and coming, the Lobos and the Utes will have the kickoff in just one moment. University of New Mexico and the University of Utah getting ready to hook it up. In case you were wondering, the Lobos are in white. The host Utes are in red. There's the series for you right there. Overall and home and away in Albuquerque and Salt Lake. And last year, the Lobos winning 47-43. A great goal line stand, Gary, by the Lobos to win that one.
Well, these two opponents were opponents in the old Skyline Conference, so this series goes a long way back, and these are very intense rivals.
Wayne Lomley will tee it up and kick it from the 35-yard line. Terrence Mathis is the deep man for the University of New Mexico. They've got a good crowd on hand here at Rice Stadium. And we're just about ready to get this collegiate football game underway. There's the kick. Short kick end over end. It'll go to the up man. Taken and brought up the field. Up to the 29-yard line, and that'll be it. Bringing that ball up was Mike Good for the University of New Mexico. Gary, you don't see that happen that often.
Well, it sent both of us looking at the scorecard to find out who that was.
Boy, you got that right. Lobos on offense. Barry Garrison will be at the throttle. There's that backfield for you. Now your wide receivers, tight end, Charleston Fobbs. We're ready to get underway. Split backs behind Garrison. Lobos go with the draw. That's Shane Hall, and he's knocked down at the 29-yard line. I don't think he got much. Leading away that time for the University of Utah was Sean Robertson. Robertson made the stop. 6 foot 1 inch tall senior linebacker. Lobos face a 2nd down and just about 10 now, just inside their own 30-yard line. 2 wide receivers to the left. Garrison back and ready to throw, looking downfield in the flat. Here's Shane Hall, spins at the 35, and then he's mobbed by the Utes. Gary, we're going to see that a lot, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Right now, the Lobos are showing 3 wide receivers without a tight end. They are actually using 3 wide receivers and a back out of the backfield. Now, as Garrison retreats, he sees the receivers downfield covered and goes to his safety valve, Shane Hall. Shane didn't have much room to operate in there. He's too close to the sideline.
Let's call it 3rd down, 7 yards to go for New Mexico. Out of the shotgun, here's Barry Garrison. Garrison's going to throw, looking downfield. He'll scramble and they sack him at the 19-yard line. Tiki Manu, the Samoan, came up with a sack, and the Lobos lost some valuable yardage there. They'll have to punt. It's 4th down for New Mexico.
Manu, number 45 in your screen, is probably their best defender. Watch his rush on Garrison, trying to get around Charles Esri, and does. There he goes down.
Back to receive the punt for Utah, Darren Hughes. Steve Albrecht will be the punter. He's a transfer to New Mexico. A nice, high spiraling punt. Hughes will take it at his 40, and he will be hit and dropped immediately. Boy, that's fine punt coverage by the Lobos.
And that punt coverage was by number 77, Fred Mady, who snapped the ball to the punter Albrecht. Great hustle by Fred.
The Lobos are working hard on special teams this year, Gary. They're spending a lot of time on that. The Lobos take over, or I should say the Utes take over. There's a quarterback, Chris Mendonca. He has really paid his dues. Another guy that had to play behind a good one and now gets a shot as a senior. The Utes ready to operate at their own 44. Jenkins in motion, back to pass Mendonca, looking deep. They're looking for Jenkins. He may be open. The toss down, complete at the 4-yard line as the Utes went for it all, and they got it. Darren Douglas made the stop. Boy, the Utes came out smoking.
Well, if anybody wants to, has any questions here in Rice Stadium about Mendonca's arm, they don't right now. That ball was thrown a long way. Darren Douglas seemed to have good position on it, but did not end up with the ball. He didn't fight the receiver well enough for it, but he was in position.
The Utes are knocking on the door now. Mendonca brings them up just inside the Lobo 5-yard line. Kurt Jones, who's the U-back, they move him around to right, and he wants to call timeout. There was some confusion on what the Utes wanted to do there, Gary.
Well, that's an important timeout for New Mexico. Now watch, New Mexico's defense is retreating to the sideline here to get briefed on something. They're in a goal line defense situation, ball inside the 5-yard line, which means you have a 6-man front, 5 in the secondary. They're all lined up in linebacker position, and they all have to be man-for-man coverage.
Martell Black, a running back in there, he's bigger than the All-American candidate Eddie Johnson, and so they're looking to put some power in there. They're inside the 5-yard line, but those timeouts are costly, Gary. You don't want to lose them this early in the ballgame.
Right. And there's Darren Douglas going up, but Jeff Jenkins had a little bit better position on the catch. The ball was dropped. It's more like dropped. It was thrown almost vertically into the air and dropped into Jenkins' hands.
Boy, they sent him in motion, and he went up that sideline, and he showed he's got some speed.
Ooh, he really has speed.
Well, the Utes now following a timeout are ready to go.
Utah State University 12.
Back in there, Eddie Johnson along with Maloney Holda. In motion, Carl Harry. Mendonca's going to pass into the end zone to Harry, incomplete, and a penalty marker is dropped.
Mendonca's pass intended for number 11, Carl Harry. There's a flag.
We've seen that twice now, Gary.
Now, Carl Harry was running free because Utah came out in an unbalanced line. In other words, they had only 2 men to the right of center, to the near side of the field, and they left one of their eligible receivers covered.
Illegal use of the hands on the offense. Still first down.
And the officials tonight are Jack Baker, as you saw on that little graphic there, John Bradley, Tom Robinson, Leroy Snow, John Cobb, Jim Saraceno, and George Lloyd. They've got a tough job, don't they, Gary?
They certainly do. Now, this penalty moves the ball. Now they will play a conventional defense rather than a goal line defense in this situation.
And the Utes go back to their conventional offense. Mendonca at the throttle. Drop straight back to Johnson in the flat, incomplete.
Fred Mady, 77, with the pressure on Mendonca.
Well, when hasn't he been tough, Gary?
And this is his 5th start against Utah.
Yeah, unbelievable. He started here as a freshman, right? Was WAC Player of the Week and then went down on an injury and had to miss the rest of the season. Lobo's making some changes defensively. And the Utes right now got off to a good start.
Now watch Fred Mady right over the middle, fight through the center, 77. There he is. Now he forced that throw earlier than Mendonca wanted to release it.
Mendonca at the throttle, wide receivers both to the top of your screen, and Mendonca back to throw again, looking in the flat, complete. That's Dennis Smith, the tight end. A host of Lobos in on the stop as they unpile. Boy, I'm telling you, that's good game tackling by the Lobos.
Well, I believe there was movement on the line of scrimmage for University of Utah. Their left tackle had jumped. 75 out there.
They got a player down to the Utes. Looks like Mike Vifinkel got injured on that play, Gary.
Mike Vifinkel, by the way, was heavily recruited by UNM this year.
Penalty marker down again. We expected this early. Both clubs really pumped up, and the officials are going to be real careful early to keep control of it.
Vifinkel was recruited by Art Valero from California Junior College, and it came down to the University of Utah or the University of New Mexico. In fact, he and his running mate next to him, Knierim, the guard, were both heavily recruited by Art Valero.
Offside on the defense. Still second down.
That's how we learned to pronounce the names, right?
That's right.
Finkel and Knierim.
Art Valero was the only man in town that knew how to pronounce them.
Well, I like the fullback, Molinai Hola. Can't beat that. Next time you get in trouble, give him that name. All right, let's take a look at the two coaches in this ball game, and both of them are offensive-minded, and they've developed some fine quarterbacks, Gary.
Well, Mike Shepard and Jim Fassel both have coached in the junior college ranks in California, and both have had some great quarterbacks. Look at Jim Fassel. He's coached people like John Elway and Kurt Schonert at Stanford. We'll pick up on this later.
All right, Mendonca is ready. Second down, goal to go at the 5. They go with Martell Black, and he doesn't get much. Fred Mady came slanting in. What a play. Boy, Mady is physical in there, Gary.
77 again gets into the backfield. He had the runner in the backfield and hung on. Good pursuit.
Kirk Allen helped out on that stop as well.
There you see Fred, number 77. Torrey Edwards fighting off a block.
Third and goal to go just outside the Lobo 3. Double tight end set, and the U-back slot back tight to the right. In motion, Eddie Johnson. Mendonca's going to pass, and the end zone incomplete. The Lobos held him. Wouldn't look for Utah to go for it early, would you, Gary?
I don't think so. I think their kicking game is good enough that they'll take the 3. And they're coming in with the tee, so they'll go for the 3. What a stand by New Mexico.
Scott Lieber's the place kicker for the Utes. He'll place it just inside the 10-yard line, hash mark nearest to your screen, as the Utes will try to draw first blood in this one. Lieber lines it up. Whistles. Another penalty marker down. Seen a lot of hankies thus far of the yellow variety. And the delay of the game on the Utes. And you see that early in ball games because teams just are not that sharp yet.
Well, and it's the first ball game, so sure.
Dead ball, delay of the game on the offense.
One of those situations where perhaps the team that makes the fewest mistakes will come out on top.
Well, that moves Lieber back, Gary, and sometimes that's to the advantage of a sidewinder.
Yes, it is. He's kicking from the correct hash mark.
Could that have been intentional, perhaps, you think?
I don't think so.
All right, Lieber ready from the hash mark. Aaron Grimm's the holder. The kick up. The kick is good, and Utah leads it 3-0. 11:40 to go in the first quarter. It's Utah 3, the Lobos 1, or rather nothing.
See how many Lobos it took to bring him down.
Boy, isn't that the truth. 6'2", 230. Here's that trick play that Gary Nuss was telling me that Utah likes to run now. Take a look at this formation. All right. They'll throw to the right, trying to sucker the Lobos. It didn't work. What a great heads-up play by Danny Lara, the strong safety. Gary, he wasn't fooled a bit. He stayed home.
He was right there, man-for-man coverage. Jack Stanton had that sniffed out. When you see a screwy formation like that, you line up and count the eligible receivers from outside in. Now, he's in the shotgun. Torrey Edwards with the rush. But Danny went up there, plucked through the block, and made the play for a loss. That may be the last time we see that trick formation.
Third down and 11 for Utah. They're going the wrong way. Here's Mendonca in trouble. Scrambles, fires upfield, deflected, nearly picked off. How the Lobos, Danny Lara, almost with back-to-back great plays. He had it right on the fingertips, but couldn't pull down the interception. It'll be a fourth down situation, and the Utes are held. So with the exception of the one big play, that's been it for Utah, Gary.
the defense has contained well, and there was good pressure on Mendonca. That ball was deflected at the line of scrimmage, which gave Danny a chance for it.
Let's pause. 8:29 to go first quarter. Utah 3, New Mexico nothing.
Don Cruz into the running for the University of Utah.
Check that. We'll be back after the punt, so stay right with us. We don't want to lose you. The punt nearly blocked. Fair catch called for, but the ball sails into the end zone. Don Cruz, the punter for Utah, really hit that one.
Clay Orison had some good pressure at that time.
Utah 3, Lobos nothing. We'll be right back.
What drove Neil Woolman, Holly Phillips, Wayne Webb, and Albert Garcia to Moriarty? It's not cute gimmicks, and it's not a bunch of baloney. It's Tillery's You're the Dealer sale this weekend. We'll post the factory invoice on every new vehicle and NADA wholesale on every used vehicle. You decide the price, you decide the profit, you decide what's fair. No reasonable offer will be refused. It's really very simple. Cars and trucks are like eggs. They're cheaper in the country. So come on out to Tillery's Chevrolet GMC in Moriarty, where the deals are.
For over 100 years, you have known us as Mountain Bell, Northwestern Bell, and Pacific Northwest Bell. But we are also U.S. West Direct, publishers of the Yellow Pages. We are U.S. West Information Systems, competing with AT&T and IBM to serve the voice and data communications market. We are U.S. West Cellular. We are Beta West Properties. We are U.S. West Financial Services. We are the 70,000 men and women who serve the telecommunications needs of over 9 million customers and almost half the continental United States. We are U.S. West.
Stadium, the Lobos have it following that punt by Don Cruz into the end zone. 1st and 10 Lobos at their own 20. Lobos trying to get it going. They trail 3-0. Their defense has played very well as of yet. Garrison now with a little draw play to Tony Jones, who gets up to the 26-yard line. Going to see a lot of that from New Mexico this year as you follow them throughout the season. They like the draws and the deception. Frank Bonifacio, the freshman again with the tackle for Utah. I believe he has 3 tackles already in the ballgame.
Well, one of the ways to slow down a rush is with a draw. Draw the defense in, hand the ball off to a back deep, and let him pick his hole. Tony Jones makes a nice 6-yard gain out of that.
Garrison now wants to send Jones and Mathis to the near Payer's screen. Owens is way up on top. Lone running back Shane Hall. Here's the pass, incomplete. Lobos trying to go to Terrence Mathis, who more than likely, barring injury, will become the all-time leading offensive receiver for the New Mexico Lobos in their football history.
Now, when Terrence, number 15 in your screen, turned up the field, there were 2 defenders on him. They released Jones in the flat to try to draw one of those defenders and leave Terrence one-on-one, but they didn't draw him out, so Terrence was double covered.
3rd down, 4 to go for New Mexico. Harrison's going over the middle. Hall at the 30 and out to the 36-yard line. 1st and 10 Lobos, their first of the game. Clarence Field, to 5'10", 179-pound senior, made the tackle. And the Lobos have an injured player down. This is the one thing, Gary, that the Lobos cannot afford.
Well, and it's Charles Usry, 72 in your screen right there, who is down right now, and he's an offensive lineman. Charles Usry is playing almost by default. I don't want to belittle his talents, but because David Lawley and some other offensive linemen are hurt. Now, at the left bottom of your screen is Charles Usry blocking there. And it...
Hard to tell exactly what it was, Gary, but Shane Hall, boy, if he just got by that one tackler, the Lobos had a chance for a real big play that time. In case you just joined us, first quarter action, Utah leading it. Utah, big pass. They got down in front, but the Dukes held up to the field goal. They opened the game with a big bomb. We understand Utah's Mike Vifenkel is injured for Utah, a sprained left foot. And he'll be out at least until halftime. And Charles Usry now injured for the Lobos.
Yeah, Charles looked like he hurt his hand. And both left tackles now, the starting left tackles for both teams, have left the game with injuries.
And both coaches have that problem in the offensive line.
Isn't it amazing? Across the country this year, everybody's offensive linemen are hurt or injured. I wonder if there's some sort of correlation here, some cause for this.
You look at a guy 6'8", 260, and you wonder how he could ever get hurt. But they're human just like all of us. Garrison to throw. 1st and 10 downfield. He wanted to get Mathis. Good coverage downfield that time by Clarence Fields. Boy, he was right there.
Clarence Fields, the senior, and in that time he had Terrence Mathis one-on-one. Ball was thrown safely. By that I mean it was thrown over the receiver who had a step on the defender, so it couldn't be intercepted. So that was a good pass by Gary, even though it wasn't by Barry, excuse me, though it wasn't a completion.
All right, Mathis to the near part of your screen. Garrison brings him up. He'd like to get something started here. Here's Hall on the left side. Up the field, had a good hole and galloped out to the 47-yard line. Clarence Fields again leading the way for the University of Utah. That is very near a first down for the University of New Mexico. Lobos trailing it 3-0 and trying to put a drive together.
It sure is. And look at the block here by Barry Luther turning up the hole there. It's Barry Luther that cuts off the pursuit that allows us to go for a first down.
Gary, I'm always amazed at the way you can pick apart that line play, but that's a former coach. You look at the ball game a little differently than most people.
Well, coaches and linemen mothers and running backs appreciate those linemen.
All right, 3rd and just inches. So the Lobos load up the line of scrimmage. Here goes Shane Hall, picks his way through. I think he's got the first down. So the Lobos have put together back-to-back first downs. They're starting to move the football. And I really feel, Gary, that goal line stand after the big play with the Lobo defense held the Utes down to the field goal, really pumped up New Mexico.
I agree with you 100%. Now watch Eugene Etheridge, 78 there on the line. He gets a good block, and there's Tony Jones, a back running through there to get a block too on that tough off tackle play.
And of course, Tony Jones, not a big guy at 5'9", 165, but everybody has to block. 1st and 10 Lobos just outside their own 47, we'll call it. Garrison at the throttle. They're putting some pressure on him. He's in trouble. Throws to Hall, complete. What a great ad-lib play. Shane across midfield and dives to the 43-yard line. And now the Lobos are in Utah territory. Sean Knox, a freshman starting for Utah, at the corner made the tackle.
Oh, and did Barry Garrison evade some pressure here? Now watch, he's got a throw running to his left. Great job here. Now he dumps it off to Shane. Now look for number 15, Terrence Mathis, to come back and block for his teammate. Right there, you see that? Boy, you can tell a team's hustling when they block for their teammates like that.
Lobos are moving the ball. Senior quarterback Barry Garrison brings him up. Tony Jones flanked to the top of your screen along with Al Owens. They're looking deep for Mathis on the turnaround and take it, and he does, and he's down immediately at the 33, and it looks like a face mask on Utah. Now the Lobos are going to get some good yardage out of that play, and the Lobo offense really starting to loosen up now.
Terrence Mathis is so much a part of this offense. You can't cover him one-on-one. Now at the left of your screen, you'll see, let's look as Barry looks now. Let's see what Barry sees. Okay, there's one-on-one out there on a great receiver like Mathis.
Well, for once in my life, I figured something correctly, Gary. It was a face mask, so the Lobos are going to pick up some more yardage, and they'll take it. This drive started back at the Lobo 20.
On the defense.
Now, the reason that
First
happens,
down.
when you're one-on-one on somebody like Mathis, you have to corral him, and you play with such a cushion. By that mean you play off the line of scrimmage. So Terrence can run down for first down yardage, turn in, and if Barry can get him the ball quickly enough, they've got their first down, which is exactly what happens.
So the Lobos are chewing up some real estate, and it's 1st and 10 New Mexico, just outside the Utah 28. Garrison's ready with a play-action fake, looking deep. There it is. The tight end Duff at the 5. Touchdown, New Mexico. Oh, they were so conscious of those wide receivers, and Duff came over the middle, and the Lobos lead it 6-3.
Patience. What patience by Barry Garrison. Content to dump the ball to his backs. He hasn't thrown downfield except the last series. And here to Duff. Wide open. No one covering. They're doubled on Terrence Mathis.
This offense.
And Terrence gets a block on the goal line once again to get Duff into the end zone.
This offense just patented for Barry Garrison, one would think. All right, here's Rick Walsh, that barefoot plays kicker. Wait till it snows, Rick. You'll need a sock. Here's the kick. It's between the uprights, and the Lobos lead it. All right, 4:53 to go in the first quarter. And your score now, the University of New Mexico 7, Utah 3. We'll be right back. Las Cruces to take on downstate rival New Mexico State. Join us live at 6:30 for the kickoff. Gary and myself will be there. And follow the Lobos right here on your Lobos sports station, KGSW TV 14. That'll be fun down there, Gary. That's a great rivalry.
Oh, it always is. Las Cruces is a great town. My hometown, so I have to give them a plug in that. But What a rivalry. New Mexico State. Throw away the season records. It doesn't count there.
4:53 to go in the first quarter. The Lobos with an 80-yard drive capped off by the touchdown pass from Barry Garrison to John Duff for 28 yards. PAT good by Rick Walsh. The Lobos lead at 7-3. Albrecht to kick it off. Eddie Johnson deep with Darren Hughes. Here's the kick. Hughes is going to take it at the 1-yard line. The 15-20 gets a seam and pops out to the 26, and the Lobos drop him right there. Clifton Smith was back there, not Eddie Johnson. The stop for New Mexico, leading away on the special teams, was Steve Webster. Utah starts out at their own 27-yard line. Dukes, or rather I should say the Lobos leading it. I knew I was going to do that before too long.
You're excused.
Oh boy. 7-3 the score. Too many nights of baseball, Gary. We'll have updates on their playoff game tonight for you, too. Quarterback sneak on a broken play and penalty markers all over the place.
Well, one man in the Utah offense had a different idea of when the snap was to be made, and that was the center. Everyone else moved to count ahead of the snap of the ball. Watch. Now watch the lineman move. Everybody, whoops. Then he finally centers it.
Heads up play by Mendonca there, because if you break through, perhaps the call can go the other way. So the senior quarterback using a little bit of savvy in what was a pretty futile situation. That Lobo drive was impressive, and boy, they had him conscious of the backs and the wide receivers, and then they got Duff over the middle.
We have a dead ball, illegal procedure on the offense.
To follow up on your remark, Jim, the thing that I am impressed with is Barry's patience and picking out his receivers. The first time there was a lot of pressure, he wasn't harried. He just kept his cool and came back.
1st and 15 for Utah. Mendonca, 2 backs behind him, 2 wide receivers to the top of your screen. Fake reverse. Mendonca fires downfield to Carl Harry. Harry has it, and he's out to the 40-yard line. Big gainer of 18 yards on that play. Troy Cluess and Marcel Weiss made the stop for the University of New Mexico, but not before Utah picked up a very valuable first down.
And with all the faking in the backfield. Now watch the fakes. Everything here is to buy time for this play. And he just barely gets it off. But you know, Jim, I'm wondering, where is Eddie Johnson? Why hasn't a great talent like that yet touched the football?
Hard to figure it out, and we didn't see him back to return the kick last time out. Kurt Jones, a U-back in motion, and you ask where he was, and there he is, gaining 3. Art Martinez, converted to a linebacker, made the stop for the University of New Mexico.
And that is exactly what the Lobo defense wants to do. Contain Eddie Johnson. Don't let him break free.
2nd down, 7 yards to go for Utah. Just inside their own 43-yard line. If you just joined us, I'm Jim Lawwell along with Gary Ness. New Mexico leading at 7-3. In motion, Kurt Jones. They'll move him all over. Mendonca wants to pass. Over the middle, complete. That'll be close to another first down. Kurt Jones, the U-back, coming up over the middle before Kirk Allen could drop him, Gary. He had first down real estate.
Well, New Mexico's using his own coverage, but they lost their containment rush at the top of your screen. There's nothing forcing Mendonca to throw from the outside. You see Fred Mady, who's an inside lineman, but there was no outside containment pressure.
It is a first down at midfield, as Gary told you. And the Utes break out of the huddle. We'll talk a little bit about this defense the Lobos are using, Gary, when we get a chance. It's likened to the Bears' 46 defense. That's Martell Black over the left side for about 4 yards that time. Ball came loose and a scramble for it.
Ball carrier number 33, Martell Black.
It's hard to see because of the string of bodies following the roll of the ball where they're marking it. Okay.
Well, they called it dead back at the 46-yard line. But, Gary, what kind of defense is this the Lobos are using now under new defensive coordinator Jack Stanton?
Well, they're trying to use combinations which allow for zone defense. It's a containment. It's not a pressure defense so much as containing the ball. It rally the team, get more than one person at the ball, use pursuit, minimize gains.
Mendonca to throw. What's new? He's in trouble. No, he wasn't dropped, but now he hits the deck. Musa Kanicki. Oh my, what a fine rush by Musa. He's a big guy. Kanicki checks in at 6'3", 250, and he just finally ran down Chris Mendonca.
He really did. He had him in his grasp, and that shows you Mendonca's strength. He got out of Musa Kanicki's grasp, but he lost his balance in so doing, and it still had to go down.
3rd down, and we'll call it a long ways to go. Boy, wide receivers everywhere. There's a Eubank Jones in motion. Mendonca wants to throw downfield. He scrambles to his right. Up the field, incomplete. Carl Harry had it, and then he dropped it. He still wouldn't have had a first down, but field position-wise, that would have really helped Utah, Gary. They could have pinned the Lobos back, and those drop passes always hurt.
You're right. You said it wouldn't have been a first down, and he was still contained. He was open, but now the pressure from the inside forces Mendonca to get out to run outside. Now, chasing him is Kirk Allen. And you see Danny Lara, number 28, holding his position, and it drops pass.
All right, here's Don Cruz. No relation to Tom. He'll be punting here. Get the snap back at about his own 25. Mathis deep for the Lobos. Nearly blocked it. They might have got a piece of it. The punt won't go too far. Gets a good healthy bounce, though, on the artificial turf, and got a very good bounce all the way to the Lobo 20, and the Lobos trying to block that one.
You know that the Lobos came close to blocking that if you were listening to the radio just by hearing the crowd response, woo, because the Lobos are coming after the punts. If you want to see where they're risk or gambling, look at Darren Douglas at the right-hand top of your screen. Watch how close he comes to drop blocking this. In fact, he may have gotten a piece of it. The ball looked like it was deflected. Now it's Barry and the offense's their next chance.
And this is where they started last time, Gary, and they marched 80 yards. Lobos lead it 7-3. Time running out first quarter, just over a minute. And the flat complete for the Lobos, but a gain of only 4. Clarence Fields comes up with another big hit there. They went to Al Owens that time, the youngster out of Highland High. He's an interesting story.
He's got speed. The question about Al Owens is hanging onto the football, and what I like to see there, that was his first chance tonight, and he made a nice grab. He got hit hard. He didn't cough it up. Al Owens is going to try to prove to us he's a football player.
Be second down, and we'll call it a long 5 or a short 6, whichever way you like. Mathis, near side of your screen. Up on top of the screen, that's Al Owens. He just had the reception. Shane Hall to the left side. They stack him up. What a play that time for Utah. Tiasi came out of nowhere to make the stop. That's another one of those Samoan names.
And there just is nowhere to run. If you'll watch on the left side of your screen here, Tiasi you've got a linebacker stunned into the hole. That's why the blocks by Eugene Etheridge and Terrence Donaldson weren't effective. They had 3 men to block.
Third down 6 for the Lobos. Garrison to throw. Ball's open over the middle, complete. Boy, this will be close. Utah making some changes defensively, and Moala was making the stop that time.
That little number 8 there, Shane Hall, makes so many clutch plays for New Mexico. He has over the past 2 years. And that play, that 6-yard completion, was 6 inches more than what was needed to get the first down. And that's another clutch play by Shane.
First down for the Lobos, as Gary told you. Lobos operating. They're going from right to left on your TV screen. Hall tries the middle, gets a couple, that'll be it. Nice swarming defense that time by Utah. And again, it was Moala coming up to make the stop. So he's come into the ball game, Gary, and he's making himself felt. His presence felt. All right, we're going to make a break. That's the end of the first quarter. Not a break out of here. Lobos 7, Utah 3. We'll be right back in just one moment. Teams flip-flop now as we start the second quarter. In WAC action this afternoon, take a look at this. Wyoming beats Air Force 27-13. Wyoming was a slight favorite. But, Gary, the Cowboys, some said, would be a sleeper. Perhaps they've got it together.
Well, I think they proved something there because I think Air Force has a balanced, strong team again.
Lobos now, second down and 9. Outside their own 30. Garrison to throw. Scrambles well. Now he's in trouble. Gets away from one tackler. Fumbles out of bounds. What a break for the Lobos. New Mexico picks up a total of about 5 yards on a fumble and scramble by Barry Garrison. That's the luck you were talking about.
Well, you know, it's lucky, but he made the right decision. He didn't try to force this ball to a receiver who was covered, and he eludes the rush there. Once again, he will. Now, Manu gets him from behind. He can't feel him. He can't see him. But fortunately, yes, he's lucky, but he was doing the right thing when he got hit.
We'll call it third down and 5 for New Mexico at the 36-yard line. Lobo 36. Garrison brings him up. Garrison straight back over the middle, incomplete. Tony Jones had it, lost it, and then one of the Utes nearly picked it up. Moala again messed up that play. And for Utah, Greg Smith, the defensive back, nearly picked it off.
Well, The Utes have changed their strategy. It's here they come. They are stunning now to get pressure on Garrison. They're really going to test Garrison's ability to perform under pressure.
Albrecht's punt is a good one. Darren Hughes will field it at the 25 of Utah. 30, boy, he can get outside. 35, 39-yard line. Penalty markers everywhere. Looked like there were two clips, especially one pretty ferocious one back around the 28-yard line. Kirk Allen on the special teams had to stop.
I think you're right. I think there were a couple of clips here. Fred Maney is giving us all an indication by motioning that it's against the Utes. One thing I noticed that the Lobo coaches are doing too, they are keeping fresh troops in there. Jack Stanton is sometimes changing his defensive line by substituting 3 at a time, and I think that's I think that may be responsible for their endurance in this game thus far.
We have a clipping on the return. First down.
If you just joined us, New Mexico leads 7-3 after a field goal by Utah early in the first quarter. Later on, midway through the first quarter, the Lobos started an 80-yard march that was capped off on a 28-yard touchdown pass from Barry Garrison to John Duff. Here's the sweep with Eddie Johnson. Nowhere to go, nowhere to turn, and he's dropped. Host of Lobos breaking that business up in there. They just swarmed that time.
They sure did, and the main swarmer, or the first swarmer, was Clay Orison, number 49, who turned Eddie Johnson in. Remember we talked about containing, and that's what Clay did. If I miss you, I'm going to force you back into my friends.
Bobby Edwards was in there as well for New Mexico. Chris Mendonca. Well, we may see Scott Mitchell pretty soon for Utah, the freshman quarterback. Mendonca goes downfield to Carl Harry, incomplete. He had him open, but the throw was wide, and Harry, a speedster, just didn't have enough speed to get that one.
Well, you mentioned we might see the other quarterback. Well, in that situation, Mendonca had the time and had the receiver open, and the ball wasn't there.
We allude to the two-quarterback situation here at Utah, if you're not familiar with it. Scott Mitchell is a freshman, a redshirt freshman, so he knows the system. And if Mendonca can't get the Utes rolling, he'll come in. Look at this wide-open formation employed by the Utes. Mendonca ready, second, and 10 to go. Over the middle, complete. Aaron Grimm made the catch that time. Troy Cluess, cornerback for the Lobos, made the tackle. Aaron Grimm backs up wide receiver Carl Harry, and he came in and made his presence felt.
Well, watch the receiver upper right now. He's crossing in front, and Brett Heber was behind him and didn't quite come up quickly enough to be able to jar that ball loose. That was an excellent throw by Mendonca.
Well, right on the money. 1st and 10 Utah. Just outside the 29-yard line. Mendonca gives to Martell Black, and he'll muscle for about 3 yards. I love to watch the little flankers and wide receivers block the cornerbacks. It's always fun to watch those guys wrestle while everybody else is involved in those plays around the line of scrimmage.
They're like the bantamweight fighters, you know, as compared to the heavyweights.
Yeah, they just get face mask to face mask and shove a little bit. It's not always blocking. 2nd down, 6 yards to go. Utah just outside their 33. Lobos lead at 7-3. Good ball game. In motion, Kurt Jones, the U-back. Mendonca back to throw again. Down the sideline, Carl Harry, complete at midfield, breaks a tackle and ridden out of bounds. Another big gainer for Utah. Carl Harry ran a perfect pattern, and Kirk Allen finally drove him out of bounds.
Did he ever? Now, this isn't Mendonca. They're saying, okay, let's try to drop back and throw into the zones. Harry is right there. Now watch Kirk Allen come across here to drive him out of bounds. Wow.
In Lobo territory, Chris Mendonca brings up Utah. Jeff Parsons is center. Up the middle, Martell Black, and he muscles to the 44-yard line. Be a gain of almost 4 yards that time. A host of Lobos in on the stop. Lobo football here on KGSW Channel 14 is brought to you in part by the good folks at Coors. By Coors Light, there's no slowing down with a silver bullet. Second down, 6 for Utah. Jones in motion. Here's Mendonca again to throw. Looking deep downfield. Incomplete, threw it away. They wanted to go to Jeff Jenkins, but Troy Cluess did a heck of a job playing Jenkins all the way down the sideline.
Troy did a superb job. He forced Jenkins to straighten up early, and Jenkins has no reason. Now let's watch this. Now watch Jenkins as he gets to the sideline. Now watch him straighten up. See, and look back. There he is. Now he's virtually stopped his running. Now he comes back. Well, by that time, Cluess has the outside position and wouldn't let him back in.
Good camera work, guys.
Excellent.
Boy, right on top of that. Huh? All right, 3rd down and 6 now. Good ball game. Both clubs wide open. Mendonca scrambles. He's got room. 45-40 to the 35, and then he is really hammered at the 35-yard line. Coming back downfield, Clay Orison. My goodness, what a hit.
I'm telling you, I've seen some tackling here by the Lobo defense tonight that I haven't seen in a long time.
Well, Gary, that's the one thing I noticed in practice, too, in some of the scrimmages, was a great improvement in downfield tackling.
Mendonca, number 13, shows us his athletic ability right here. He sees his receivers covered against the zone defense and comes back, and there you see Clay Orison's tackle.
1st and 10 Utah, inside the Lobo 36. Mendonca to throw, deep pattern to Aaron Grimm, complete at the 13-yard line of New Mexico. That wasn't bad coverage. That was a great pass and a great catch.
If that pass was 1 inch off the mark, and if the receiver hadn't done a great job holding on to it, there's no completion there. Now this is a man-to-man coverage situation what the Lobos have not shown much of tonight.
There's Grimm out of Whittier, California.
2 excellent catches by Grimm tonight.
They said he was multi-talented, Gary, and he's shown us great athletic ability. 1st and 10 Utah now, just outside the Utah 13-yard line, we'll call it. They're going deep. It's Jenkins, incomplete. He dropped it. They had him. And that's the 2nd throw by Mendonca. That has been just perfectly thrown right on the line.
Incomplete. Defender number 4, Troy Cluess.
Once again, the throw has to be perfect for a completion on this play because everything to the inside is covered. It has to be outside and perfect. Watch this one. Good camera angle here. Danny Lara coming over. It was just a little off his fingertips.
All right. Here's Mendonca. 2 wide receivers to the bottom of your screen. Hughes and Harry. A screen pass to Johnson. He's at the 10, the 5, and he's stacked up and driven out of bounds right there. You can't tackle any better than Darren Douglas did there. That was some fine execution and play calling by Utah.
That's a good point. Utah has shown a lot of patience. They've balanced their runs with the passes. Watch the heat by Mady there. In fact, Mady looks like he tips it with his thumb. Now Eddie Johnson in open field on Eddie Johnson. What a tackle by Darren Douglas.
All right, they need a little less than a yard, Gary. Inside the 5. Double tight ends. Here's Martell Black muscling past to 3. He'll have a 1st and goal situation for Utah. They just lined up with their most physical people and powered it right off the right side.
Be interesting to see how many plays Utah has used in this drive. The adage used to be that if you make your opponent run consecutive plays, by the 13th play they will do something to lose the ball. And I wonder, they should be approaching that in this drive.
I guess we should applaud Utah's fans, Gary. They've got a good crowd here, and school is not in session yet. But let's get to the action. 1st and goal now, just outside the 3-yard line of New Mexico. Mendonca to Black, stacked up and dropped right at the line of scrimmage. The Lobos swarmed to the ball, and again, excellent tackling. Stood him up and rode him back.
Well, Utah is putting on a fine drive here, but every inch they're paying the price. As Martell Black will tell you. Here's a good shot on the line of scrimmage. Penetration in this situation. You see Fred Mady across the line of scrimmage.
2nd and goal, number 3, Utah.
Another angle from the top. Stacking it up there. Now there's Bobby Edwards, Danny Lara, Art Martinez.
2nd and goal, inside the 3. Double tight end set. Mendonca to throw. Looks in the flat. Lobs to the end zone. Johnson, touchdown Utah. And the Utes jump back on top in a seesaw affair. 9-3. That pass was right on the money.
Well, the hardest person to cover on goal line pass coverage is a back out of the backfield. And here is Eddie Johnson, probably the quickest man on the field. Out of the backfield. There you see him slip out in the flat. Mendonca. Marcel Weiss was rushing the passer, and Mendonca gets it to him. Nice catch by Eddie Johnson.
Well, Johnson, we wondered where he was, and we just found out. Here's Lever to kick the extra point. Grimm will hold. Kick's good. The teams will head up the field. 9:44 to go in the first quarter, and this is an excellent football game. Utah 10, the University of New Mexico 7. We'll be right back with you in just one moment. Of action, adventure and comedy with Fox's Saturday night lineup, normally seen at this time. It all starts with the summer's biggest new hit, Werewolf. Don't miss it Monday night, right here on KGSW TV 14. The kickoff by Lomley. Kick deep. Terrence Mathis is going to get a shot at this one at the 5, the 10, 15, 20. Look at him go! 25, 30, and out to the 34. Mathis showing that explosive ability that he has. Brother, is he quick.
Oh, and he can hurt you in so many ways. Here he is returning the kickoff. You have to double cover him on defense. Terrence Mathis holds more than his own on the football field.
Gary, the Lobos have to reestablish themselves now. It's been a very good football game, going back and forth. Utah leading 10-7, but the Lobos have to come right back out and move the football.
You see the wedge there. The wedge created a lane for him to run in.
They tried to strip that ball, did the Utes. Here's Garrison to throw. 1st and 10. There's Duff over the middle. He's dropped at the 38. He kind of went the wrong way for a while. The Utes drop him finally at about the 35. I believe they'll give him some real estate there.
As you can see, Big John Duff, number 84 there, gives you a nice tall target to reach. But I think if he had to do it over again, John would just head straight up the field and fight for what additional yardage he could get.
Tuguafu made the stop for the Utah Utes. Capitola. Rather check that Mike Henderson in there. At a wide receiver right now with Terrence Mathis. Garrison ready now on 2nd down. Over the middle. Complete. They won't get the first down. They didn't get too much real estate that time, Gary. Utes read that one well.
No, he used his back out of the backfield as a safety valve. Now, that didn't gain him much yardage. Watch him, he kind of steps up and delivers this in a sidearm fashion. It's a cute little pass. But what that does is that keeps the linebackers honest. It means that they're more reluctant to pursue if they know they have to cover that back.
Well, Al Owens has caught both passes they've thrown him thus far, and you said that would be a key for Owens. 3rd and 4 outside the Lobo 40. Garrison to throw. Over the middle, complete. Mathis spins from one tackler as the first down at the Lobo 47-yard line. Eric Jacobson, a junior at 5'11", 185, made the stop for Utah.
Let's give Terrence some credit. This is a difficult catch. This requires courage. Now watch, he has to reach away from his body to get the ball when he knows he's going to get hit right there. Oh.
He nearly broke that, Gary.
Yes.
Mathis heads to the top of the screen this time. Owens to the near side of your screen. When they flash that full scope, you'll see that. There you go. There's Owens, the bottom of the screen. Garrison fakes the draw. Looking down the sideline, looking for Owens. Incomplete. Good coverage by Eric Jacobson. He was with him every step of the way that time. A penalty marker is dropped on the play. If you just joined us, 10-7 Utah. It's been a good football game, back and forth. Both ball clubs are playing hard and playing well for the first time out, and lots of offense and passing, Gary.
Well, it's a holding indicated against New Mexico. So it looks like they'll be first down again, but in a seriously long yardage situation. Al Owens looked like he didn't know which shoulder to look over for that ball that time, like there might have been a little indecision.
If you're coaching the offense and it's 1st and 20 like it will be, you can't look at it 1st and 20, can you, Gary? You've got to look at it a step at a time.
Holding on the offense. Still first down.
It's 1st and 20, but you can plan on using 3 downs to get it back. If you try to get it all back in one play, that's you're lowering the probabilities there.
Lobos break out of the huddle. First down and 20. 37-yard line, Lobo territory. A draw play, Tony Jones. They tried to strip the ball from him, and he's dropped after a very small gain, maybe a yard. That time for Utah, Sean Robertson. Outside linebacker came in and started all that business. Had a lot of help from Tiasi as well, or Taasi, I should say. Taasi is making his presence felt tonight.
Yes, he is.
So game 2nd and 20, Lobos.
Lobos, 2nd down, we'll call it 20. Garrison, play action fake. Over the middle, complete to Mathis. Hits the AstroTurf at about the 46-yard line. Well, they got back 17 yards on that one. Mathis is very difficult to handle over the middle. The Lobos established Owens and a couple of other people in the tight end, and now things are opening up for Mathis.
All right, now, his offensive line, Art Valero's group, is giving him time to throw the ball. Now they're throwing inside patterns to Terrence Mathis because they're using the linebackers in the rush.
3rd and 3, New Mexico, outside the Utah 45. 4-man front by the Utes. Over the middle, incomplete. Well, they tried to go to Terrence Mathis again. That ball was just a little in behind Terrence, and he got one hand on it but couldn't gather it in as he was hit by Eric Jacobson and hit hard.
Well, nobody's more disappointed than Barry himself because he knew he threw it behind him a little bit. We're calling a timeout. Lobos are using their first timeout of the evening.
6:28 to go in the first half. Utah leading at 10-7. So we're going to take a break right now. Lobos trailing it by a field goal. We'll be back in just one moment.
Located at the University Bookstore.
Announcing the largest Volkswagen full factory funded rebates ever, up to $3,500. Drive a new Saab with no down payment for only $294 per month. It's a buyer's choice sale at University Volkswagen Saab. New Volkswagen start at only $57.90. New Saab prices only $13,900. Make no payments till June 88. Rebates on new Alfa Milano and Bertoni X19s. Don't miss the biggest buyer's choice sale ever at University Volkswagen Saab on University between Lomas and Indian School.
You've trained, prepared, psyched yourself up. Now, there's no turning back. So grab your Cold Coors beer, survival food, and get ready to join the elite, America's professional couching staff. But you'll need the right equipment. So look for the special Coors and Coors Light couching staff display at your favorite store. And get ready to couch like you've never couched before.
Like to play detective? Here's a case for you. The case of the missing calcium. Think cornflakes has calcium? Oh, I'm sorry. There's none there. Shredded wheat? Boiled again. Of all these cereals, only one has calcium. Total. It makes perfect sense. The one that gives you 100% of 9 vitamins and iron is also the only one that's a major source of calcium. So, if you're trying to track down more calcium like I am, the place to look is obvious. Total.
When you want to save time, start your next do-it-yourself project at Allwoods, because Allwoods has the biggest selection of home improvement items in Albuquerque. Special for the Labor Day weekend, 1-inch mill combination storm screen doors at just $33. And the 12.5-foot flexo ladder that changes from step to extension to workbench, only $88. Allwoods. Why go anywhere else?
Lake City. The Lobos are going to go for it. 4th down and a little more than 2 yards to go outside the Utah 45. Utah leads it 10-7. It's been back and forth. And now they send out the punting unit. So Albrecht to punt. Tried to draw them offsides.
Because they were right near their sideline and they're punting against the defense. And there's a nice
kick by Albrecht, and it just missed dropping in at the 1-yard line. He hung it up there so well. And he got a pretty good squib bounce, but it carried him just a bit into the end zone. Well, we're going to break again. 6:18 to go, first half. Utah 10, New Mexico 7. Stay with us now, won't you?
They held the team on the sideline until the very last moment, which means they kicked against the defensive unit, the regular defensive unit, rather than the kicking return team.
There's Martell Black. It's about 4 over the right side of his line. It'll be 2nd down and 6 for Utah. Lobo football on KGSW Channel 14, brought to you in part by American Toyota. They're proud to be a sponsor of UNM football on Channel 14. American Toyota, New Mexico's #1 Toyota dealership. 2nd and 6. Jenkins to the bottom of your screen. Carl Harry to the top of your screen. Chris Mendonca at the throttle. The senior quarterback backs up, throws in a flat complete to Jenkins. He's out of bounds at the 39. A gain of 19 yards and a first down for the University of Utah. Second time they've used that play effectively, Gary.
Yes, they have. Now, what they do is they catch the Lobos in single coverage. Whenever they catch, I'm wondering if this is not an automatic that Mendonca calls when he sees single coverage on the Lobos, because he's going for that corner all the way.
Mendonca, 6 foot 181. He threw that ball well cross field. 1st and 10 Utah at the 39. This time Jenkins in motion. Martell Black off the right side. Gets a couple and that'll be it. The Lobos stacked it up very well. A host of Lobos in there. Leading away, Torrey Edwards, I believe, and as they unpile. See a host of Lobos in there, Beatty as well as Brian McCabe, too, I believe.
With the size advantage of Utah's offensive line, it's amazing they're not getting more on those straight rushes by Martell Black.
Second down and 8 now. Or check that. There's the end zone shot. Penalty markers down on the second down play. Mendonca went back to pass. Everybody was running everywhere, and he was sacked on a combination, kind of a sandwich job by Fred Mady and Torrey Edwards, and just looked like from the get-go the play was a broken play.
Well, this was a rush, a spaghetti rush. In other words, linemen on the line of scrimmage. There you see Torrey Edwards and Fred Mady, who exchanged rushing lanes off the line of scrimmage, and that's why they put the pressure on Mendonca. It's a holding call against the Utah team, but I believe that the Lobos will choose to accept the loss and the down and not penalize them.
Well, they certainly have that option. Gary, what do you think so far about this football game? I don't want to get carried away, but the Lobos defensively have been so much better.
On the offense. Penalty is refused. Third down.
Well, we've seen some things I think the Lobos have reason to be confident about. I think their defense overall has not yielded, but only grudgingly. The offense, I see Barry Garrison growing and gaining some confidence. There are a lot of positive things for the Lobos in this first half.
All right. Some long yardage for Mendonca. He'll try the draw play at Eddie Johnson. Nothing doing. McCabe led the way that time for the Lobos. McCabe, an interesting story. When spring football started last year, Mike Shepard came in and said, look, is there any place you've ever liked to play before? Well, if you'd like to play somewhere, try out for that position. And McCabe says, I want to be a nose tackle. I want to play defense. And I think he's shown well thus far, Gary.
That was what he played in high school, and he wanted to return to that position. They said, okay, in spring we'll give you a chance. He demonstrated he could do it.
Don Cruz to punt it. The pressure's on. He barely got it off. No penalty as Cruz hit the artificial surface. Mathis alertly got out of the way of that. It was trouble all the way. Ball down at the 39-yard line. Ryan Campbell down that kick for Utah. Lobos are going to have some good field position.
You can attribute his poor kicking, Campbell's poor kicking, to the Lobo rush. That's a decision that the Lobos are making. If the Lobos are playing high-risk football any place, it's with their kicking game, and it's paying off.
Outside the Lobo 39, Garrison ready for the Lobo offense to go to work. A shift, and Garrison goes to the left side with Reggie Rogers, and he's dropped for a big loss. Back at the 32-yard line of New Mexico. A loss of over 7 yards. It'll bring up second down in a long situation. Leading away for Utah, Tuku Afu. And I mean, he was right there.
Well, they're stunning linebackers here. Terrence Mathis was at the bottom of the screen, totally one-on-one, and with far too much position to run in. If they line up in the same formation and fake the sweep, they can throw to the. Well, they're not in the same formation.
Garrison's ready to go. Second down. We'll call it 17. Garrison to throw, in trouble. Scrambles, and they sack him back at the 26-yard line. So the Utah defense, who last year was much maligned, and it was Tika Manu who came in to make the sack on Barry Garrison. But you have two defenses who were much maligned last year at the bottom of the pile in America, and they both played well thus far tonight.
Quarterbacks don't mind rush from in front where they can see it. What they can't see scares them, though, and there you see why, because just as he was ready to release the ball, Manu caught him from behind.
And I think you see there the note on Manu. He's from Salt Lake City, homegrown. And grown quite large.
Yes, very robust person.
The Lobos are going to use another timeout. We've ticked it down to 2:52 to go in the first half. Utah leads at 10-7, and their defense has really reared up here to stop New Mexico after their possession at the 39-yard line. They have moved the Lobos back to the Lobo 27. Third down and a long ways to go for the Lobos.
Well, let's see what happens here. You know, you have third and forever, and do you want to risk trying to get it all or trying to surrender with an interception or a big rush or a stunt or something like that, or do you play it conservative? I think their defense has shown enough resistance that they can go ahead and kick this ball away without worrying about it.
Hey, how about the last time the Lobos played here? A little different weather conditions, huh? Look at that, huh?
I remember a guy by the name of Errol Tucker, number 2.
Look at him go. And this is in the snow. Now, what you wonder, though, is where is he? Oh, there's the goal line.
Harold Tucker, we learned tonight, has an ankle injury that's keeping him out of a pro career. We wish him well. I'd like to see Harold Tucker make it.
3rd and a ton for the Lobos. Garrison backs up. He's got time. Throws downfield. Mathis complete. And Mathis out of bounds at the 47-yard line. What a gain. That'll stop the clock. We're down to 2:45. Hey, you might have a tendency. Shepard likes to gamble,
Yes,
Gary.
sir.
Maybe you go here.
That was the position to show it, and he did. He wasn't, you know, he had every right to sit on it and surrender the ball and with enough confidence in your defense to keep him from scoring, but he still went after it. I give him a lot of credit.
Well, they ruled him out of bounds farther back, so you couldn't really gamble on 4th down there. Here's a nice punt by Albrecht, sending Darren Hughes to the 5. He'll bring it upfield. He gets to the 11, and that's it. Good special teams coverage that time by New Mexico. The Lobos have improved in that area. Chris Houston came up to make the stop. He is a junior out of Sacramento.
The special teams play, you can't say enough about it. It has been absolutely terrific. The Lobos were sitting 2 downs ago back on their own 20-yard line, and now, with 2 minutes to go, now the Utes have it on their own 11.
You saw Terrence Mathis there. This season, barring injury, he should become the all-time leading receiver in the history of New Mexico football. He's an All-American candidate. The Utes start in the hole at their own 11. Mendonca. They'll try the middle with Eddie Johnson. He muscles for a couple, maybe less than that. Got out to perhaps the 13, 2nd down, and 8 yards to go.
Okay, let's contrast. With about the same amount of time in their deep territory, they give the ball off on the run. So you see a difference in the coaching contrast in the coaching strategies right here.
The Lobos have a special teams coach this year for the first time, and we'll have Gary tell you a little more about that when we get a chance. Utah leads at 10-7, operating at their own 13. Johnson across the 15 to perhaps the 16. How important is that, Gary?
Well, I'll tell you what, that is Eddie Johnson's 5th rush, and he had a total of -1, and he has 2 yards on that one, so we ought to have one yard in 5 rushes. That is extremely, I'm sure Jack Stanton is quite pleased with that.
And talking about the special teams coach, that's a big improvement.
Gary Zahner has done an excellent job. I mean, it's fun to see the kicking game in the strategy as we watch. I couldn't see who that was, the Lobo player down. The only thing I can say is that is positive about this, Toe Diem and Larry Willock are not working on his legs or his knees there, so let's hope he just had the wind knocked out of him.
Yeah, it's hard to figure who that might have been.
But yes, it's fun to see the kicking game actually involved in the strategy here.
I don't see Kanicki. Maybe it's him down right now. John Belt, the freshman from Del Norte. That's who was down, Gary.
Is it 99 or I guess it is 99 there.
He's going to be a nice addition.
Oh, they're very pleased with John Bell. Looks like he's holding his hand.
Looks like, yeah, maybe between 2 helmets.
It was heavily taped in the first place, so maybe John re-injured something there. Let's hope it's not too serious.
3rd down for the Utes. You heard it. 6 yards to go. Outside their own 15-yard line. In motion, Carl Harry, the man with 2 first names. Mendonca over the middle, and Carl Harry complete. It should be shy of a 1st down. Kirk Allen with a good strong tackle. Didn't let him get anything more.
Well, even before the strong tackle, it was Kirk Allen's ominous presence that made Carl Harry drop that ball. He saw him coming and couldn't maintain his concentration. Now let's watch. You see, right in the line of flight is Kirk Allen, and he was looking for him.
And here comes Don Cruz and the Utah punting team.
Now, do you go for the block here? Let's see if the Lobos go for it. They get a chance to see the full line of scrimmage.
Well, they went after it. They didn't get it. What a fine punt. It drives Mathis back to his own 36. To the 40, he can move and out of bounds. Heads up play by Mathis, the junior. Lobos take over now just outside their own 43. 1:13 to go first half. The University of Utah leading the Lobos 10-7. The Lobos have a 2-minute drill.
Yes, they do, and we'll get to see it right here. Now, what you watch for receivers trying to go out of bounds or ball carriers. Whoever's holding the ball, go out of bounds. More passes than runs. Try to stop the clock after each play without calling a timeout.
Garrison brings up the Lobos. Shane Hall, the lone setback. They didn't have the chains moved up, so they'll call time. Ryan Campbell had another special teams tackle for Utah. That's the 3rd time we've seen him do that already.
Well, what really happened, I believe, Utah did not have enough men on the field, and they called a timeout.
Okay.
Similar to BYU's situation against Pittsburgh the other night. In a very important, critical, pivotal point in the game. This gives the Lobos a chance to regroup on the sideline. Barry Garrison discussing it with Mike Shepard.
Well, Gary, Tuesday night at 8 on the movies. It's My Tutor. That'll be followed by Booze and Buddies. I know that's one of your favorites. And that'll be on at 10 from Fox. It's the late show at 10:30. It's a whole evening of laughs Tuesday on KGSW TV 14. I'll be tuning in for that. My Tutor, Booze and Buddies, and the late night movie.
There are some Lobo fans here, although they're hard to pick out among the red Utah rooters.
It's a good crowd. I think we mentioned that earlier. Lobos first and 10 at their own 43, trailing 10-7. Garrison scrambles to his right, up the field. Oh, cradled and caught at the 43-yard line. You can't do it any better than Mike Henderson did it right there.
Young freshman, and watch out, see, no huddle. The Lobos are not huddling. Waste no time in huddling. Over the ball. Barry will get in the shotgun.
All right. Lobos trying to move it quickly. We're down to 58 seconds. Garrison complete to Duff. Carries a tackler across the 40 to the 39-yard line.
Now look for them to use the timeout. He didn't get out of bounds. No, they're not, but they are going without a huddle.
They only have one left, according to what I have, Gary. They want to save it. 40 seconds, trying to drive it down at least into field goal range. Garrison out of the shotgun. Looking downfield and deep. There's Mathis, complete. He's going to score a touchdown, New Mexico. Garrison to Mathis, a 40-yard touchdown pass, and the Lobos lead it 13-10. That pass is right on the money. Terrence bobbled it, but he's such a great athlete. He gathered it in and scored.
Utah could not change their people like they wanted to. They still had a man running off the field when the ball was snapped. And here is Terrence Mathis. No one can cover him one-on-one, wide open. You know, that's scary when you're so open and the ball is right there. You really have to force yourself to concentrate. Plenty of time. The offensive line gave Barry Garrison plenty of time. There's your field view of it. And they made it look easy. There's still 30 seconds on the clock.
Walsh with a kick. It is good. The PAT good. 30 seconds to go in the first half, and the Lobos moved it quickly up the field. They started at their own 43, and then I don't have it officially, but we'll call it a 40-yard touchdown pass. The ball was fired downfield to Mathis, and you could see that one developing all the way, Gary, and he gathered it in. That's his job. He's a leader. He's the guy who makes the big play. Lobos leading at 14-10, 30 seconds to go in the first half, and the Utes, Gary, great observation on your part. The Lobos did something that really confused them, and they had the wrong combination, and I guess the phrase is they caught them with their pants down.
You're right, and you talk about leadership. There's a guy right there in the center of your screen. He's finally conceding to smile a little bit. Mike Shepard, that new head coach of the Lobos. And there have been several times tonight when his coaching decisions, strategies, and so forth have come to the fore. He deserves a lot of credit.
14-10 Lobos, 30 seconds till halftime. Now, you can't get careless here because Utah's the same type of club. They'll go right at you.
Indeed not. And if we can get there's the Utah U on the mountain right behind the campus here.
This campus reminds me a lot of UNM's.
Yes, it does.
They're very similar. Both institutions with beautiful campuses. Albrecht to kick it off on the hash mark to the top of your screen. Nice kick. He hammered it. Darren Hughes in the end zone will down it. And the Utes start at their own 20 with 30 seconds to go. The crowd here in a bit of shock. Thus far, in my humble opinion, you can't get a better football game than this.
Well, I'm tending to agree with you. Albrecht, who is the punter, showed the strength of his leg there. Now, he kicks off on regular kickoff situations and carried that ball 7 yards deep. Didn't get very high, but it was deep enough that they had to down it.
So here's Mendonca. Three flank to the bottom of your screen. The screen pass to Eddie Johnson to let him work. 25-30, 35. Dodges a tackler and dives all the way to the 45-yard line. Now, that gives you an idea of why Eddie Johnson was an honorable mention All-American and first-team All-WAC last year. The Utes go without a huddle. 19 seconds to go first half. They're trying to get at least in field goal range. Lobos leading at 14-10. The lone setback, Johnson. Mendonca looking deep. Penalty markers all over the place. Tipped away, incomplete. Fine play defensively that time for New Mexico. Flipping that ball away was Chris Houston of the Lobos.
And Chris Houston is a former defensive back who is now a linebacker, and you showed his agility back there.
Officials sort it out, and here comes the decision. Well, he had his big debut, and he didn't get his microphone turned on, you know? Hey.
Have a substitution infraction. 12 men on the field on the defense. First.
Well, Mike Shepard has special defenses designed, but I don't think any of them has 12 men on them.
Well, I like the idea of 12 against 11, but I don't think it's illegal.
What hurts the most is that it stopped the clock.
That's right, and they're at the 40 now. 12 seconds to go in the first half. Mendonca ready. Rolls to his right, looking downfield, and there it goes. Deep to the end zone. Carl to Jenkins, and flipped away.
Brett Hebert made an absolutely great play coming from his safety. That was a down and up and out again. All right, let's watch this from the back. Now watch the receiver, Jenkins. Watch him turn out. Now he gets the defensive back to bite. Troy Lewis bit. Now he's beyond him. The only player who could come into it now is Brett Hebert coming from his safety position. There.
Boy, Hebert timed that well. And here's the long field goal attempt. 4 seconds to go. Scott Liebert looking to kick one. That'll be a 57-yard attempt. It's lined right up for him. The ball's bobbled by Aaron Grimm, and the Lobos drop Grimm back in Utah territory. The clock will run out. That's the end of the first half. And the Lobos have got to be happy as they head into the locker room at halftime in Salt Lake City. The University of New Mexico with a couple of big plays from Garrison to John Duff and then to Terrence Mathis. And at halftime, it's the University of New Mexico 14, the University of Utah 10. Last year in Albuquerque, the Lobos won 47-43 over Utah after the Utes beat them in Salt Lake the year before. And look how it ended with a goal line stand, and it was dramatic.
That same number 32 tried to carry the ball in, didn't make it on fourth down. You know, another thing that did, besides provide the Lobos with their first win last year, was that kept the Utah defense a notch lower than the Lobo defense in the total defensive stats last year. I think that Utah ended up 126th, and Lobo was 124th. As we see Gary Zahner huddling with his special teams, a final display of fireworks here tonight.
Well, they put on a good show, Gary, and I know when you come to see the Lobos at home this season, they're going to put on the same kind of show. There's only 4 home games. Remember, the first home game comes up on the 26th, BYU. The Cougars come into University Stadium.
And just down the hallway, who was there but Lavelle Edwards, head coach of BYU, to see this game tonight.
He had a rough go with Pitt, didn't he, the other night on Wednesday night? And of course, Gary and I will be with you in Las Cruces next Saturday night. Airtime is 6:30 as the big rivalry, New Mexico and New Mexico State, renewed again. And anytime the Lobos and the Aggies get together, it's always exciting. And of course, tonight in the Sun Bowl, UTEP and New Mexico State are dueling. There's Terrence Mathis. 5 receptions tonight. I believe now he needs a total of 35 to break or to tie Preston Denard's all-time receiving record, and 36 to be the all-time leader in receptions. All right, we're ready to start the second half. Lobos kickoff. Steve Albrecht back deep for Utah. Darren Hughes, and they're going to kick it his way. They squib it. He can't get it, and it goes into the end zone and out of play. We've seen Clifton Smith, Gary, back there on kickoffs the last couple of times, and Eddie Johnson usually handles those chores. He only has, Eddie Johnson, the All-American candidate, 3 yards rushing in 5 attempts.
To me, that is a very telling statistic that Eddie Johnson has carried the ball 5 times for a total of only 3. I'm sure Jack Stanton and his defensive staff are very pleased with that at this point.
All right, Utah in red. They're moving from left to right on your television screen. Here they come. Lobos lead it 14-10. Now here comes that formation again. Lobos read it perfectly their last time. Mendonca out of a strange shotgun formation. The senior quarterback throws to Eddie Johnson at the 20. He breaks out to the 25. Look at him go. At the 30 and all the way out to the 36-yard line. A gain of 16 yards. Marcel Weiss finally made the tackle downfield for New Mexico. It's going to be a very interesting second half. These two clubs both are coming off tough seasons, and both head coaches are possessed with being winners.
And all that formation does is spread the defense wide and plop the ball to Eddie Johnson, your best athlete, and see what he can get. And you can see what Eddie can do.
We're going to see it again, only they flip-flop it this time. I don't know what you call it. I call it unique. Mendonca rolling left, looking way downfield. Pumps and fires complete. Carl Harry with the reception inside Lobo territory at the 47-yard line of New Mexico again. Marcel Weiss on the tackle. Another 1st and 10 for the University of Utah. And they've come out with their guns smoking.
But notice that the defense keeps the ball and the receivers in front of them. Now in this case, he's going to roll to his left, to the right of your screen. Harry is open, but there are 2 men behind him, you see.
First and 10 at the Lobo 46. That's where they mark it. Mendonca, a shuffle flea flicker pass to Markel Black. He fumbles, gets it back, runs over 2 Lobos, and goes all the way to the 28-yard line. Again, Marcel Weiss, for the 3rd consecutive time, makes the tackle downfield. Looked like the loss of the ball. Black would turn it over, but somehow it took a convenient hop right back to him.
All right, now this is the shuffle pass, but there are really no linemen to shuffle it underneath. You hear the crowd going in the background because there is a penalty invoked on the play.
Illegal receiver downfield. They rule out a pass, Gary?
Illegal procedure on the offense. Not enough men on the line of scrimmage.
All right. You have to have 7 men on the line of scrimmage, and one of those linemen, see, they're not used to lining up that far away from the ball. And if you're 1 yard in the backfield, you're not on the line of scrimmage. So that's probably what happened.
And a big break for New Mexico. First and 15, Utah at their own 49 now. Mendonca rolls and throws complete. Carl Harry to the 45 and dropped with a shoestring tackle at the 39 by Danny Lara. Fine open field tackling.
Now, one thing that this does, it forces you into man-for-man coverage. New Mexico has been playing basically zone and containment. This formation does force you into man-for-man coverage.
Jack Stanton teaching the defensive backs, Gary, says don't tackle them around the waist. They'll carry you all over. Go down on their feet and bring them down, and that's what Danny Lara did. Here's that formation again. Why do we call it the Utah formation, huh? Mendonca ready to throw. Rolls to his left. Looking way downfield. Thrown complete. At the sideline, Carl Harry at the 19-yard line. He did an excellent job of keeping his feet. Or check that, Jeff Jenkins made the catch, not Carl Harry, 1, not 11. Whoever made it, he kept his feet in and did it to perfection.
All right, now watch the U-backs coming back and blocking Torrey Edwards. He barely got his head in front to keep that from a clip. And Mendonca, that's an excellent catch there.
From the 18, a sweep for Eddie Johnson. He tries to get outside, and he can't. He's dropping a 19-yard line. Clay Orison came out and got him. A big play for the Lobos, who have been stingy tonight when the ball has gotten deep in Lobo territory.
And Clay Orison fought the block and kept the blocker from getting his outside leg and cutting him down, and otherwise Eddie Johnson would have had a big, big gain.
If you just joined us, just underway, second half, 12:32 and counting remaining third quarter. New Mexico leading Utah 14-10, but the Utes threatening. They lost a yard back to the 20. We'll call it second and a long 11 for Chris Mendonca. The senior quarterback throws in the end zone, picked off and dropped. Troy Cluas had it, and he lost it in the end zone. He might have had too long to take a glance at that.
Well, he had to dive forward for it a little bit. But watch the rush here. Watch the rush by Art Martinez, 35. It is him. He had leap over a blocker, but it was Art Martinez that made Mendonca put the ball up early.
Is that the term they use, clock the quarterback, Gary? Shepard used that term, clock him? Is that flush him out, clock him, hurry him?
Yeah, that could be Mike's term.
All right.
Or maybe it's Jack Stanton's term.
Okay. Whatever term it was, it worked. Third down. A long 11. Mendonca scrambling around. Fires upfield. Complete. Aaron Grimm down to the New Mexico 6-yard line. Now let's call it the 7. Troy Cluas made the stop. Should be enough for a first and goal situation for the University of Utah.
Give Mendonca credit for that, because that's not what the play was designed to do. He wanted to go this side. That was a reverse coming. But he saw the opening, got the ball downfield. Now notice New Mexico, when they put the 4 linemen to the end line or the sideline, they are only taking 2 of their interior linemen and putting them over there. That's an adjustment. So what Coach Stanton is doing is leaving 2 more interior linemen in the middle of the field to try to contain Mendonca. That cut off the reverse that was intended on the last play.
Gary, this ball game reminds me of 2 kids. You remember that? I can leap 5 feet.
That's right.
Yeah, well, you can. Well, watch me leap 6. And then the next one leaps 7. And just a very entertaining game. Jim Fassel is really fit to be tied, and there's going to be a timeout called by Utah. 12:06 to go, third quarter. Your score, Utah threatening, New Mexico leading. Lobos 14, Utah 10. Stay with us, huh? Starting at 6 on KGSW Channel 14, it's Fox's Super Sunday. It all starts with a 21-inch jump street, followed by 2 hours of hilarious and innovative comedy. It's top-notch entertainment from Fox and your great entertainer, KGSW TV 14. All right, first and goal at the 7. Mendonca at the throttle. Martel Black carries it up the middle and pulls his way inside the Lobo 3-yard line.
Number 33.
Power, just straight ahead power. I think Utah's doing a smart thing now. They're quick. They're done fooling around. What they want to do now is just use their superior size and strength and root this ball up the middle, try to get it into the end zone.
Second and goal from the 3. Utah.
Second and goal just inside the 3. Utah backs it in, double tight end set. Even the U-back, Kurt Jones, in tight. They'll try the left side. Black fumbles. Lobos after it. A big scramble. Who's got it? Their signal, Utah has the football. The Lobos came within inches of a big turnover right there.
But they forced them back. In fact, they may have forced them back to a position now if the ball's on the 8. I believe it's on the 8. You may want to get out of the goal line defense now. It's the companion play to the previous one. This time, someone reaches in there and drops the ball out of Martel Black's hands.
Gary, companion, explain that term.
Well, right and left. They ran the preceding play. It was the same play run to the bottom of the screen or to Utah's right. They came back and ran it to the left.
They're back now, third and goal at the 8-yard line. In motion, Eddie Johnson. They're looking for him in the flat. Mendonca throws up in the air, and Kurt Jones goes up in the air. He can't handle it. Looked like Jones was the intended receiver, but Eddie Johnson was there as well. And Troy Cluess, who dropped a possible interception earlier, certainly did a great job of breaking that play up, and he's limping a little bit right now.
Yes, he did. He had to follow Jones across the field. As we said, down here, it's all man for man. Jones is about 6'4". Troy Cluess is, I don't know, not 6'4". And there he was.
On the offense, penalty is refused. Fourth down.
Fourth down, goal to go.
Decision time.
That's right.
And it appears as though...
Excuse me, Garrett. Go ahead. We should tell them, we need to pay the bills. You're tuned to Channel 14, KGSW TV, Albuquerque, New Mexico, your great entertainer and your home of Lobo Sports. Jim Lawwell and Gary Ness with you. We're glad you're with us. All right, here's Lieber, the place kicker. He has a field goal to his credit tonight, and he'll go for a little 25-yarder from the far hash mark. Grimm, the holder. Kick is up, and it's good. So with 10:47 to go in the third quarter, Lieber's field goal, unofficially 25 yards, will edge the Utes within 1. Your score now, the University of New Mexico 14, the University of Utah 13. Gary, all in all, the Lobos have to be happy with turning the Utes away with just 3.
Certainly. As we watched the kick again, you can look at this, they just surrendered 3 points, but I believe they just saved 4 for the second time tonight. I think the defense got tough when they had to, and believe me, Jim Fassel is not as pleased with the 3 points.
Lobos lead at 14-13. You bet he's not pleased.
Surprisingly, against that, shall we call it, your term, the Utah formation, against the Utah formation, I really believe they're not really having to make all that many adjustments right now.
Could call it the U formation, but I like that, Utah formation. They invented it. Let's give them credit. Fassel is known for doing that type of thing as a head coach.
Well, I thought I'd seen all of them, but I had not seen that. I give him credit. That's creative. I like coaches that do that. I really do.
Lovely kicks it off, Gary. Terrence Mathis is the deep man. Remember Mike Good, the up man? He carried one back tonight, and he had us all with the magnifying glasses trying to figure out who that was. Mathis takes it in the end zone. He'll bring it out to the 15, at the 19. Boy, does he work hard. He's dropping the 19-yard line, but he's tough to bring down, is Terrence Mathis, and not because of his size, because of his dedication and determination. Mathis is only 5'9", 165, and I really don't think he's that heavy.
And I think he has a lot of courage, as we can see right here. That's courage, folks.
So he's dedicated, determined, and courageous. You can't get much better than that, can you?
Those are bigger people, and they're running right at you.
First and 10 Lobos outside their own 19. Shane Hall has a hole. Out to the 28-yard line before he's dropped by the Utes. Greg Smith with the tackle. Hall's a very elusive type back. He doesn't look like he's very fast, but he can pick his way through traffic. And when you throw him the ball, he'll catch it.
Okay. See, Sam Taylor, nice block. 64, Barry Luther, nice block. Shane Hall, as you said, is an all-around back. He was a quarterback in high school.
Lobos lead at 14-13. Hall looking for the first down. He may not have gotten it. He needed to get outside the 29. He's in that area. Tiki Manu made the stop that time. Boy, he's been felt. His presence has been felt tonight. Also Tiasi.
No gain of play, third, less than 1.
All right, this is where you go for your best. Go to your best blocker.
Third and very short. Garrison back. A throw over the middle, complete. First down, Lobos at the 41-yard line. Oh boy, Gary, looks like I better get my bags packed. Taking a look over at my Duke broadcast partner, Mike Roberts. Bottom of the second in the Southern Division playoff. We'll give you the score after this.
A gutsy call. Shall we say a gutsy call? Let's say a high-risk call.
All right.
3rd and 2, throw the ball over the middle.
6-0 Las Vegas over the Dukes in Vegas, bottom of the second inning. Remember, if the Dukes win that game, they clinch the Southern Division title. Here's Shane Hall on a draw, and he only gets about a yard, maybe 2. Second down and a long 8 for the Lobos.
Hit by number 57, Frank Bonifacio.
The Lobos, if they can eat some of this clock and take some of the excitement out of the Utah offense, take a little bit of the edge off it, and keep possession here. Move the ball down. They've already regained quite a bit of field position, even if they don't score.
Just over 9 minutes to go, third quarter. New Mexico leading Utah, 14-13. In motion, Tony Jones. He runs out of room and pauses, and Garrison drops straight back. Now he's scrambling and dumps it off incomplete to Shane Hall. Garrison was dumped pretty hard, but he showed some great maturity. He knew he was in trouble. He saw Hall, but he didn't throw it anywhere where Hall could catch it. He threw it where it wouldn't be intentional grounding, but it wouldn't be caught.
I can't improve on that explanation one bit. That is absolutely correct.
Absolutely correct, huh?
Yep.
Jeez, thanks, Gary.
All right, now, you see the line retreating, the cup protection. Now, he knows that he can't plant and throw the ball downfield, so he drops it in an area of an eligible receiver.
Third and a long 9 for New Mexico. Garrison back to throw again. Over the middle, complete and dropped. John Duff had it right in his hands, and then he dropped it. The Lobos will have to punt. Here comes Steve Albrecht in the punting team.
Steve had a couple of really good punts in the first half.
Taking a look at the replay, the punt is hammered down to about the 14. Darren Hughes with the fair catch there. And just a matter with Duff that time, he couldn't gather it in.
And the Lobos, although they didn't score, they gained very valuable field position. They surrender the ball. Utah has it now on their own 14. Anytime you can give the ball to your opponent inside of their 20, you've got the advantage.
The low scoring in the third quarter came on a 25-yard field goal by Utah's place kicker Scott Lever. New Mexico leads 14-13. It's been an entertaining game. We're going to take time out. 8:40 to go third quarter. Lobos up 14-13. Quarterback draws it to Eddie Johnson, and he's dropped in a hurry. Kirk Allen, the transfer from Wichita State, read it perfectly.
With help from Fred May and Art Martinez. And you could actually hear the Lobo bench, which is on the near sideline, screaming draw before Mendonca handed it to Johnson. That's how prepared this defensive front is for that draw play.
Second down and 11 for the University of Utah. We still haven't seen the freshman quarterback, Scott Mitchell. And here's the Utah formation. Look at all of this, huh? Mendonca to throw for the middle. That's Carl Harry breaking a tackle at the 20 and bouncing off tacklers to the 22-yard line. A pickup of about 7 yards. Well, a little more than that because they lost yardage in the first play. Let's give them 8, and we'll make it third down and 3 for the University of Utah. Have a Lobo player down around the 22-yard line. Danny Lara, the senior strong safety, is down for New Mexico.
Danny has had a terrific ball game tonight.
Lobo football here on KGSW. TV 14 is brought to you in part by Safeway. Safeway is America's favorite food store.
You know, Jim, I'm beginning to think that the Utah formation or I like the term that I heard our producer mention just a minute ago, that Utah is vacillating again. After
Okay.
Coach Jim Fassel.
Yeah,
But I'm beginning to think
vacillating.
that formation is about used its life in this ball game. When your lineman, you have to hold up the play for your lineman to get over to the sideline. You got to wonder, why are those guys in there?
Remember to watch for more of your favorites coming to KGSW TV 14 in September. They include Family Ties and Simon & Simon every weeknight. And remember, on Sunday, September the 20th, for the first time, it'll be the Emmy Awards. See it all right here on The Great Entertainer, KGSW Channel 14. Mendonca to throw, and Fred Mady had him. The ball released, a penalty marker down, and we'll sort it all out. Interesting call on 3rd and a short 3 or a long 2. Penalty will go against the Utes.
If you're a Lobo fan, or if you're the Lobo defensive coordinator, such as Jack Stanton, I think you might even be hoping that the Utah will try to stay with this
on the
formation.
offense. Penalty is refused. 4th down.
Well, the Utes are going to have to punt now. 7:37 to go in the 3rd quarter. 14-13. New Mexico leading Utah. It's been that kind of a game. Utah led 3-0. The Lobos led 7-3. Utah 10-7. Lobos 14-10 at halftime. And a field goal by Utah here in the 3rd quarter. It's 14-13. Gary, what do you see?
Let's see if the Lobos try to block this. They have 10 men on the line.
Don Cruz, the punter. Boy, he spirals this one high. Terrence Mathis, a fair catch called for, and he grabs it at the Lobo 30, and they'll take over right there. All right, 7:29 to go 3rd quarter. The Lobos lead it 14-13. Stay with us now, won't you? Good ball game. Rice Stadium on the campus of the University of Utah. Jim Lawwill here, along with Gary Ness. There's Coach Mike Shepard. His Lobos lead it 14-13. They've got the football at their own 30-yard line. Garrison back, looking deep to Mathis, caught, but out of bounds, incomplete. You talk about Mathis and a great athlete. The ball was caught out of bounds, but what a great catch it was, and Sean Knox was right on the play for Utah defensively.
And there's something else that ought to be said about this. Sean Knox, who just covered Terrence Mathis man for man down the sideline. Sean Knox is a true freshman. That means he is just out of high school, folks, and he will play 3 ball games before he's attended a class here at the University of Utah. He is relatively young, but he's a fine athlete.
All right, Garrison, 2nd down, 10 yards to go. Boy, Garrison has played well tonight in his Lobo debut as a starter. Little trap play, and it looked like the Lobos had something for a little while, and everything got all clogged up in the middle. R.J. Williams made the tackle for Utah. Tried the middle, Gary, but it looked like the center for the Lobos, Scott Maney, got tagged up with the runner.
Well, you know, you ask, why run those plays? Well, sure, they only break for a yard or 2 or maybe not get much at all. But if you don't run those, the linemen tee off on the pass rush. So you have to run them to keep the linemen honest, so to speak.
Scott Howard is in the backfield in there last time as well to carry it. He's out of St. Pius in Albuquerque. Pass downfield complete. Fine catch. Sean Knox with the tackle around the 48-yard line of New Mexico as Al Owens, who was a track artist at UNM, came out for football and has 4 catches now tonight.
And Al, I believe you're a receiver. Let's first acknowledge the protection. Great protection by the offensive line. Now, Al, he catches this. He knows he's got to get the first. He never even looked up. He put that shoulder down and got the first down yardage.
1st and 10 Lobos at the 47.5-yard line, Lobo territory. New Mexico leads it 14-13. 6:18 and counting remaining in the 3rd quarter. Garrison looking downfield to Mathis, incomplete. Nearly picked off by Sean Knox. Boy, Knox read that perfectly. That was that down and out pattern that had worked so well in the first half. Obviously, Utah has adjusted.
But you know what Knox did, which was super? Now, Knox is covering Mathis. Okay. Now, they're double. That's a linebacker on Mathis. But Knox is covering Al Owens to the left of your screen. Now, he sees the ball in the air, and he leaves Owens to come up and break up the pass to Mathis. What a play by Knox.
Good job, camera people. You're right on the play. Barry Garrison now splits his running backs and drops back. The blitz is on. It's dealt out to Tony Jones, and he's out of bounds inside Utah territory at the 46-yard line. Tika Mandu is over there to drive Tony Jones out of bounds.
A mark of an experienced leader at quarterback is be able to release the ball under pressure. Thus, he read the blitz. That means he recognized it. Look at Shane Hall's block. Got the ball away to Tony Jones.
I'm impressed with Garrison thus far. Lobos on the move, 3rd down, 4 yards to go in Utah territory. Garrison over the middle, complete to Tony Jones. He puts his head down and has the 1st down at the Utah 41-yard line. Next Saturday, the Lobos go to Las Cruces to take on downstate state arch rival New Mexico State. Be sure to join Gary and me live at 6:30 for the kickoff here on your Lobos sports station, KGSW TV 14. I'm looking forward to that, Gary.
I sure am too. Coach Ed Lambert has to be real proud of Tony Jones and Shane Hall and the way they have blocked, received, gotten the 1st downs.
All right, 1st and 10 Lobos. Here's Shane Hall. Gets maybe a yard, that'll be it.
And number 8, Shane Hall.
Boy, that's a heck of a job defensively there by Brian Wise of Utah. He tackled Shane and stripped him to the artificial turf hard.
He ducked inside the tackle's block to do that, and in a way it was the right play at the right time, because had that play been designed as a sweep, there was no containment to the outside.
Garrison brings up the Lobos, and he's got wide receivers to both sides. They dump it off right side to Shane Hall, and he's dropped for a loss. You can't play that play any better than Maola did. He was right there.
He was the only one that was completely man-for-man coverage. The other covers had all run downfield with the receivers. You saw Shane slip to the top of your left of your screen. Now watch Maola. Great pursuit.
You say that well, Maola. Is that anything like Mahalo? There, your Lobo 3rd down conversion, 7 out of 12. The snap to Garrison. 3rd down and long. Downfield, Mathis dropped it. He was open at the 28-yard line and couldn't hang on to the football.
And a hush from this crowd, because they knew that one of the most dangerous men on the field had the ball in midfield wide open.
They have nearly 30,000 here tonight, Gary. 29,112, and school is not in session here at Utah. Boy, there it is. Right on the money, huh?
If you're an aspiring young quarterback, watch how Barry Garrison sets his back foot and steps into his throws. Penalty was declined because this means the Lobos will have to punt.
Albrecht will be looking to drop it deep in the corner and really pin the Utes back.
Yes, once again, the Lobos have marched it down to gain field position.
14-13, Lobos lead it. 4:20 to go, 3rd quarter. The punt by Albrecht. He lays it up there pretty nicely. But again, a little too hard. It'll go into the end zone. So the Utes take over at their 20, and again, in the Pacific Coast League Playoffs Southern Division Championship Series, the Albuquerque Dukes up 2 games to none, but in Vegas tonight, at the bottom of the 2nd, trailing 6-0. Well, Gary, I guess I'm going to be doing some traveling after this ball game over to Vegas, and then maybe up north, and then I'll meet you in Las Cruces.
Just don't wear out those vocal cords, Jim. Save some for next Saturday down at Las Cruces.
Oh, yeah, well, you get so pumped up doing an exciting football game like this that you don't have to worry about them. They revive themselves through the adrenaline. The Utes have it at the 20. Mendonca tries the left side with Eddie Johnson. He slashes out for about a 4-yard gain to the 24-yard line. Torrey Edwards with another tackle for New Mexico.
You know, the good thing that Utah does is they spread their receivers. They leave Eddie Johnson back there. And Mendonca just turns around and passes Eddie the ball, and it's as if to say, Eddie, find a hole and take it, whichever you want to read. And he reads the line of scrimmage to recognize daylight and run into it.
Lobos have done a good job on Eddie Johnson thus far. Double wide receivers to the bottom of your screen. Mendonca straight back to throw again. Downfield, incomplete. He wanted Dennis Smith, the tight end, and Darren Douglas was right there.
Little Darren was climbing all over Smith. He gives up about 8 inches in height there and probably a lot of reach, but he was right there on the play. Let's watch this. Watch Darren come from behind. He's behind the receiver. That's a mark of zone defense.
Jack Stanton in his drills and practice this season, I know, teaching his secondary to get up and strip the ball. 3rd down conversions for Utah, not as effective as New Mexico. 4 out of 11, 43%. Throwing a flat complete to Carl Harry. And Harry breaks 2 tackles, lunges forward for a big 1st down. Outstanding effort by Carl Harry. Art Martinez eventually got Harry, who was squirming all over the place, and brought him to the artificial surface.
Stop power made by number 20.
The blitz was on. Now watch Mendonca when he throws this ball. Watch the blitz. Watch this. Boom.
Kirk Allen really hit him well, didn't he?
It was right there in his face. Now Harry this is a great individual effort to get the first down.
Camera work. First you're right back there with Mendonca, and then you can join Carl Harry up the sidelines. Mendonca to throw, 1st and 10. Looking deep, spirals it for Jeff Jenkins, way over his head, incomplete. We're down to 2:55 to go in the third quarter, and if you just joined us, it's a great football game. New Mexico leading Utah 14-13. Gary, all the talk about a big offensive showcase, but it's been just the opposite.
And I think it's been more tense for me watching this defense than the offense. Art Martinez was the blitzer that time, and Art Martinez was the one who forced Mendonca to throw. And as Kirk Allen did in the previous play, he was right in Mendonca's face.
You coaches never calm down. I can see you age a little with each long pass downfield. Mendonca, 2nd down and 10. Rolls to his left. Throws back the other way to Eddie Johnson, who has room. 30, 35, 40, and knocked down at the 42-yard line. Kirk Allen with a stop, and boy, Utah's throwing everything in their playbook at New Mexico now.
That is a sweep screen back against the formation to Eddie Johnson, and I can't give enough credit to number 3, Darren Douglas, who has to make an open field tackle on their most dangerous runner with a blocker in front. Now watch number 3, Darren Douglas, come into your screen from the right. And he forced him back into where the pursuit could make it.
Here's Eddie Johnson sweeping left with room. He's going to go to midfield and be dumped out of bounds in Lobo territory, just in Lobo territory. They're really starting to go wide on the Lobos, not only running but throwing, Gary, using the entire field.
And Utah is doing the right thing by trying to get the ball in Eddie Johnson's hands some way or another as often as possible. Eddie needs a break now. You see him standing on the sideline.
People would talk about fatigue, but these two clubs have one thing in common. There's a personal foul on the Lobos that'll hurt. Neither club is very deep, so they're both going to have to play their first liners in a tight game all the way. So conditioning will be a factor, but it's tough for both ball clubs. Costly penalty. I didn't see that.
Well, I think, we can't hear what it was, but I think it was, I think they ruled that he had stepped out of bounds before somebody went and knocked him down.
Mendonca ready to work. At the Lobo 35, they blitz him, can't get him, dump it to Kirk Jones. Jones is dropped. What a play by Kirk Allen. Gary, he came slashing in and read that perfectly.
Just as Maona had done the same thing to the Lobos on the previous drive, Kirk Allen did the very same thing. But Musa Kaniki and Fred May were pressuring. Watch the pressure from Mady and Kaniki. See? Fred has Mendonca in his grasp, and there's Musa right behind.
No gain of the play, 2nd and 10 Utah.
Oh, boy.
Kirk Allen, a nice addition, transfer from Wichita State. 2nd and 10 Utah, the Lobo 35. Lobos lead it 14-13. Mendonca with time, throwing downfield for Kirk Jones, overthrew it. Incomplete, he had him that time. Danny Lara on the coverage, but the ball was just overthrown.
Utah loves to send Jenkins in motion, and that isolates him one-on-one with the widest cornerback, and that means the safety has to cover the tight end Owens. And Brett Heber he was a little bit behind Owens, but the rush made Mendonca put it up early.
Lobos have been penalized 4 times for 45 yards this half. Utah 6 for 40. Danny Lara was back here on that coverage of Jones. There's that little flea flicker play to Eddie Johnson, who scampers to the 17-yard line. Little scuttle pass. They used it once, and they had a penalty bring it back, and it worked again this time, Gary. They saved it. Danny Lara with the stunt.
When you have somebody like Eddie Johnson in your backfield. Now this is like a draw play, except handing the ball, instead of handing the ball to him, you just flip it forward to him. That's technically and statistically a forward pass.
Gary, Utah now has really opened it up offensively. They have gone back into the playbook, and they've come up with a couple of plays that didn't work earlier because of penalties, not because they didn't work. They've moved the football now. This is the second time they've gone deep into Lobo territory. The Lobos lead at 14-13, but Utah has not been able to get the ball in the end zone.
And once again, it's been grudgingly that they've given up any yardage at all, the Lobo defense I'm talking about, and they have, for the most part, contained them.
The Lobo defense has been on the field for a long time in the third quarter. We talked about fatigue being equal, but your offense needs to go out and move that football and give that defense a break after they go to work here.
You know, in a fatigue situation, most coaches believe the offense has the advantage. Do you know why? You know, you hear this all the time. The offense knows where they're going to go. They can conserve their energy. They know exactly what routes to take. Defensively, you may change direction. Any man on the field may change the direction once or twice in pursuit of a single play, but the offense knows where they're going.
The college basketball coach, I know, Gary, in fact, you know, elaborating on that point, Dick Drangmeister once said the good athletes go at 90% because they know where they're going, and when they make their big move, then they accelerate and beat you. So a point well taken. Utah just outside of 18. First and 10, Lobo territory. They swing it to Eddie Johnson to the 15, and he's dropped at the 13-yard line. Marcel Weiss with a stop, a 5'10", 185-pound senior. Weiss has had a good ball game, and Eddie Johnson now, as the great athletes do, is beginning to assert himself.
And how many ways can you get the ball to Eddie Johnson? We've seen there's a quick screen or a flare pass. We've seen a sweep screen. We've seen him from the draw and a straight handoff and a trap. How many ways can you get the ball to 32?
Second and 5 at the Lobo 13. 49 seconds and counting remaining third quarter. Lobos lead at 14-13. Utah knocking on the door. Mendonca hit and dumps it off to Eddie Johnson. He's to the 10, to the 5 with a block. Touchdown, Utah. And the Utes jump back on top in this seesaw game. 19-14. With only 37 seconds to go in the third quarter, Utah drives it down the field and caps it off on a great move by Mendonca. He flipped it to Eddie Johnson, who showed his great wide-open running ability. He took it into the end zone.
Now, you give a lot of credit to number 13 here, Mendonca. He waits. You have to wait so that your screen receiver can get free. And he waited till the last possible microsecond to release the ball in Musa Kaniki's grasp. And Johnson does the rest.
Musa had him, Gary, and he just managed to get it away. Now here's that strange formation. They're going to go for 2. They want to get 7 up on the Lobos. The Utah formation, vacillating as they say. Mendonca out of the shotgun. Lobos rush, toss it in, 2-point conversion. They got it to number 83 in the end zone, Steve Peters. Peters gets the 2-point conversion, and Utah leads the Lobos now, 21-14. A lot of trickery out of the playbook of Utah.
And you know what is tricky about that? Peters snapped the ball. Peters centered the ball. Normally you don't cover the center because he's not an eligible receiver. Let's see if he snapped the ball. He did. Peters snapped the ball, and he was an end man technically on the line of scrimmage. He is an eligible receiver.
They saved that, Gary.
Yeah.
They saved that. Yeah. Got to credit Jim Fassel with some fine trickery there. Lobos defense did well. Hard to prepare your secondary to cover the man who snaps the ball. 21-14. Now the Lobos are going to have to reassert themselves. The third quarter, all momentum has swung to Utah here at home. 37 seconds to go. In the third quarter, 21-14 Utah. Gary, if you're the Lobos now, you receive the kickoff. And what's the plan of attack?
I want to keep the ball in my hands as long as I can. I want to give the defense a rest and make some first downs. We don't have to do any high-risk stuff. We want to do first downs, keep possession, give our defense a rest, regain field position. First things first. Of course, it'd be nice if Terrence Mathis could run it back for a touchdown, of course, but
Wayne Lumley will kick it off. Mathis at the goal line to take it. Boy, is this one moved. Mathis gets it in the end zone. He's going to bring it out and gamble with it. He heads to his left. Across the 10, he's in trouble, and they drop him at the 11-yard line. Leading the way on some fine coverage for Utah was Greg Smith. Smith is homegrown out of Salt Lake City, Utah.
There was a return. This is an unusual return. The return was designated to the near sideline. If you're watching, there is no wedge in front of him. Now, the blockers are actually forming to the bottom of the screen or to the near sideline. But one guy gets through Smith gets through the screen there.
First and 10, New Mexico at their own 11. They trail 21-14. Time running out third quarter. Garrison to throw from his own end zone. Downfield to Mathis. Great catch at the 28-yard line. He's dropped right there. Sean Knox with a good open field tackle. Boy, Mike Shepard doesn't fool around. He came right at him.
And if you don't think that makes the offense feel good to get out of the hole like this. Now, let's see if Garrison's back there. He's going to be throwing from near his goal line. Right there. He's throwing from behind the goal line into the center of the field. That ball has to be on the money. And is it? Woo.
Mathis, I have unofficially now is 7 catches. We'll get the official mark. Here's Hall to the left side. Gets outside. It spins for 4, maybe 5 yards to the 34-yard line. A face mask will be called on Utah as well, so this will move the Lobos up the field and give them a 1st and 10 if they got 5 there.
Face mask is the indication.
If it's intentional, of course, it's big real estate. If it's unintentional, it won't cost the Utes that much. They mark it off. It'll just be of the 5-yard variety. I believe they have a first down here.
On the defense.
They were going to move the chains up, and now they're a little confused.
Barry Luther pulled from his guard position and got out in order to seal off the corner of the line of scrimmage so that Shane could get upfield.
Sean Robertson had the face mask. You could catch in the replay when he had the jersey, but he had him by the face mask before that. They're measuring now, and they moved the chains up and had to move them back, so it'll be interesting to see if the Dukes do measure it, or the Lobos do measure it out. Well, that's due. See now, I owe you $10. That's twice.
No, you're forgiven.
All right, 1st and 10 Lobos, as you can see by the measurement. They're at their own 39-yard line. Boy, the Lobos with a pair of quick first downs after Utah struck, and time has run out. It's the end of the 3rd quarter. Anybody's football game after 3 quarters. It's the University of Utah 21, New Mexico 14. We'll be right back with you. Clear along with Gary Ness. Be sure to tune in Monday night at 8 for 2 hours of action, adventure, and comedy with Fox's Saturday night lineup, normally seen at this time. It all starts with the summer's biggest new hit called Werewolf. Don't miss it Monday night here on KGSW TV 14. Garrison downfield and incomplete. The intended receiver was Al Owens.
For number 82, Al
Clarence
Owens.
Fields on the coverage that time for Utah. 2nd down, 10 yards to go for New Mexico. 4th quarter, Utah leading at 21-14. New Mexico led 14-10 at halftime. Lobos operating at their own 39. They'll move from left to right on your TV screen here in the final quarter. Garrison to throw again. Over the middle, complete to Shane Hall. Puts his head down and gets an extra yard across the 45.
Shane Hall.
Lobos get 6 on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 4. And if there's been a big 3rd down play in the ball game thus far, this is it. The up-and-coming play.
All right, and this is a hot receiver system. If the back notices that the linebacker is going to rush, which the Utah is doing right now, that back slips into his space behind the line of scrimmage, and Barry Garrison dumps the ball to him. It looks like Barry wants to confer on the sidelines.
Obviously, the feeling is, Gary, that it is that big of a 3rd down. We'll be right back in just a moment. Utes 21, Lobos 14. Stay right with us. Down to the ball game. Lobos outside their own 45, 3rd and 4. Garrison to throw. The pressure's on. Over the middle, complete. And Mathis gets away. He'll head to the 45 and cut up field to the 42-yard line before the Utes can bring him down. Boy, that was a saving tackle. Pulled down by Bob Bonifacio. Of course, his brother Frank plays for the Utes as well.
It's your bread and butter time, and you go to your best receiver in a tightest situation, and he goes to Mathis right across the field. There is, however, a conference going on by the officials in the center of the field.
Looks like it's going to go against the Lobos.
Dead ball. Offside on here.
Someone lined up in a neutral zone.
Awfully late flag, Gary.
I sure didn't see it before the play. If it was a dead ball foul.
That's what I'm talking about. I'll remain professional and not say anything more. It was 3rd down and 4, and the Lobos did execute it. Penalties in the second half. UNM 5 for 50 yards, and there have been a lot of penalties in the second half. 7 for 45 yards on Utah. So penalties just about equal. That call really hurt the Lobos. Usually on a dead ball foul, and correct me if I'm wrong, Gary, the flag goes up and they don't run the play.
And the whistle blows.
Indeed. Well, the Lobos will have to bow their neck and overcome it now. We got some confusion. I believe that's what Mike Shepard was probably asking across the field. Mike Henderson in a wide receiver for the Lobos, and the Lobos now will re-huddle. It'll be 3rd down and 9 for New Mexico.
And just looking ahead, the personnel they have in the huddle at this time, they have 3 wide receivers. The Lobos are employing 3 wide receivers without a tight end.
There's Jim Fassel, Gary, talking it over, the defensive strategy. Little brain trust work for Utah. And Garrison staring to Mike Shepard, the Lobo head coach. Yeah, it's interesting. Tukuafu over there talking to head coach Jim Fassel. What are they talking about?
They're saying, whatever you do, don't let number 15 cross the field.
3rd and 9 Lobos, 21-14 Utah. Just underway, fourth quarter. A lot of football yet to be played.
40-yard line.
Now we got yet another pause in play. Gary, a lot of fans don't know this. Explain why the man has the white cap on and everybody else has black caps.
Well, the white cap is the referee, and he's the captain, so to speak, of the officiating unit. He's the one who confers to the coaches and to the players, and he has the ultimate final authority on starting the clock and so forth.
And he's Jack Baker, and we just saw him there. All right, 3rd and 9. Garrison scrambling to the right. Continues the scramble. Heads out of bounds, and it's thrown. That'll be a personal foul and a break for the Lobos if Garrison is all right. That'll be a 15-yard personal foul assessed against the University of Utah. Did you see those Lobo players scramble up to protect their quarterback?
And every flag on the field was thrown on that one. There was never a more obvious one than that one.
Might have been Manu who got ticketed with that. Let's take a look. Maybe not. See him coming over.
Underneath, the fans...
Dead ball, personal foul, late hit out of bounds on the defense. First down.
It was Tukuafu who got that personal.
What you can't see here is under the fans there is a walkway. In other words, there's a concrete walkway beneath the fans, and it is a very dangerous thing. You can go right through into that walkway. Well, you see the windows. There are some windows that you can see from this perspective. And you see the people standing like a baseball dugout.
Good work, guys, down there field side. Here's Garrison, 1st and 10 Lobos to Shane Hall, and he makes something out of nothing and gets 3 yards to the Utah 40. Gary, in that DCL playoff, it's Las Vegas 10, the Dukes 4 in the bottom of the 4th inning. Obviously, no pitching duel. That's where the offense is. We've got pretty much a defensive battle. Las Vegas had a 10-run 2nd inning, they tell us. Duke's trying to nail down the Southern Division title. Let's get back to football now. 2nd down, 7 yards to go for New Mexico at the Utah 40. They trail it by a touchdown. They started this drive way back at their own 11-yard line. Whistles blow. You can see the intensity of play really picking up now, Gary. Both of these clubs desperately want this ball game. I think that you made a very, very incisive remark before the game when you said not only is this a season
Dead
opener.
ball, delay a game on the offense.
This is
Still
a Western Athletic Conference game.
And if the Lobos win this, they don't play another conference game until BYU comes to town on the 26th. So they'll remain atop the conference standings for 3 weeks.
They lost 5, delay of game. 2nd down, 15 yards to go. Barry Garrison now brings up the Lobos. Owens top of the screen, Mathis to the bottom of the screen. They're looking for Terrence. They get him up the sideline to the 34 near first down territory. Sean Knox, the freshman, many times tonight has had to tango with Terrence Mathis, a candidate for All-American, and a freshman has not played that poorly.
And let's point something else out about Barry Garrison. Before the replay started here, he had checked off at the line of scrimmage. In other words, it was his recognition that canceled the play that was called and called on the line of scrimmage the new play, thus the completion to Mathis. He saw the cushion or the distance the defender was playing off Mathis, flipped the ball out to him.
3rd down, less than 1. The Lobos bring in some extra muscle. Van McCormick is an extra tight end in there. There's Duff in motion. They go to Tony Jones, and he bounces off a tackler and gets it with 2nd effort. How many times have you seen a running back get that big first down when it looks like they've got him, and he squirms out of the way? Eric Jacobson, along with Sean Robertson, finally brought him down.
And I don't know how many 1-yard runs Tony has made in his life, but Tony, believe me, that's the most important one you've done in a long time. Watch this. He has made contact is made early, keeps his balance, and drives forward.
Gary, out of that one, he got the old third hand or third leg drill, where you use the ball the hand without the ball to balance yourself and lunge forward, because your body, most people are over 5 foot, will get you a yard. Did they get it?
Well, I think you could see the post. All you can see beyond the nose of the ball is the post. Now, Scott Maney's gonna do his arguing there a little bit.
I thought they had it easily when he first got up.
Short of first down by an inch or two.
4th and inches. We know what the Lobos are going to do. They're going to go for it. You know, Gary, I'm getting carried away here, but I can imagine the play action fake in the ball.
Yes, you can. You can also imagine a quarterback sneak.
All right, listen to the crowd rev it up here at Rice Stadium. Garrison has it. Unless we have a placement of the ball, much like the Lobos encountered at Colorado State a year ago, that will be a first down for the University of New Mexico. Garrison lunged forward, and boy, the interior part of that line did the job. Maney and Luther and Donaldson.
You hit it right on the head. There they are.
Well, they did move it back a bit, but it looks to me now like they've got it. It's really fun to the sideline microphone to listen to the players tell those officials, move it back, man. He didn't get that far. And Maney's over there saying, you can't move the ball back there. Move that ball farther up there. He got farther than that.
They should be lawyers. They're good arguers. They negotiate there and settle their points.
Well, the Lobos have had some big third down plays in this drive, Gary.
And here's a 4th down play.
First and 10, New Mexico.
Just outside the Utah
Ball resting on
33-yard line.
33-yard line.
Toe Diem on the sidelines for the Lobos.
There's a man who's an institution at UNM.
An institution in an institution.
That's right.
Not of the mental variety either, of higher learning. Garrison at the 33, ready to throw deep. Fires it to Mathis in the end zone. Touchdown. Touchdown, New Mexico. Mathis from Garrison on a 33-yard touchdown bomb. Boy, Mathis used his body perfectly, and the Lobos cut it to 1, and they'll try to tie it with the extra point.
You're looking at one of the finest football players in the country. This one, too. And look at those. Look at Eugene Etheridge at the top. Scott Maney. Look at them protecting him, giving him the time. See, he has to wait till Terrence gets downfield. And Terrence following that ball beautifully. Ball on the money.
Mathis used his body, nudging into the defender and catching the ball with those supple hands. Waltz tries to tie it. The kick is no good. It's wide to the left. 12 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. 12 minutes remaining in the game. Your score, the University of Utah 21, the New Mexico Lobos 20. We'll be right back.
If you could combine the world's best cars into one car, you'd probably want a premium gasoline that lets it perform its best. One that controls deposits while cleaning intake systems. High-octane Chevron Supreme with Tech Relief cleans not just fuel injectors, complete intake systems. Chevron Supreme delivers high performance no matter what car you drive. Chevron Supreme.
Cadillac, the standard of comparison. Now, for a limited time, Friendly Cadillac is offering $2,000 cash back direct from Cadillac. New, luxurious, full-size Cadillacs from only $19,406 at Friendly. You've always wanted to drive a Cadillac. Here is a good reason to buy one now. And here are 1,999 more good reasons. Hurry, sale ends September 30th. Friendly Cadillac, because you deserve the best.
Bilco Carpet has just purchased an entire bankrupt inventory from a well-known Eastern carpet mill. They have thousands of yards to choose from at an unheard-of price, just $5 a yard. Save up to 60% during Bilco's Labor Day sale. Patio grass $249, Armstrong or Domco vinyl 50% off. Rich Saxony plush was $16.99, now $8.99 a yard. Hundreds of other similar values too. 90 days, same as cash. Bilco will be open Sunday and Monday, 11 till 5. It's the huge Labor Day sale now at Bilco, 7617 Manal, just east of Pennsylvania.
Jim Lowell back at Rice Stadium in Salt Lake City along with Gary Ness. Good ball game. 12 minutes to go now. Utah leading New Mexico 21-20. Rick Walsh missed the extra point. After Garrison's 33-yard touchdown pass to Terrence Mathis, the kick to Darren Hughes, he'll bring it up. He's across the 10, the 20, and dropped at the 22-yard line, and a penalty marker is dropped at the 20. You can feel the intensity level of not only the players, but of the 29,112 fans here.
The Super Bowl is not played under any more intensity than Utah and the Lobos have played this game tonight.
Season opener. Leading away for the Lobos in a special teams play, Chris Houston. With a little help from Steve Holmes.
Right at the goal line. How far can he get before first contact? Right there at the 20-yard line.
Below the waist on the return team.
Penalty goes against Utah, and it pins the Utes back at their own 9-yard line, and that's a break for the Lobos.
Jim, if there's a disadvantage to a containment-type defense, what the Lobos have been playing, it doesn't create many turnovers. And in this situation, you wonder if Jack Stanton might pull out the stops and blitz or something to try to create a turnover.
Mendonca fakes the running play, looks over the middle to Carl Harry, and he gets him complete at the 28-yard line. That'll be a gain. So nearly 19 yards, Marcel Weiss made the tackle, and now Utah comes back with both barrels loaded. 21-20.
And watch Mendonca. Mendonca pays the price. He steps into the rush. Harry is an acrobatic receiver, isn't he?
He certainly is. He and Jenkins both. It's like they cloned them. Here's Martell Black with some muscle, and he works his way to the 33-yard line. A gain of about 6 yards on the play. Second down and 4 for Utah. Kirk Allen leading the way that time for the University of New Mexico.
That's far more yardage on a power play than Jack Stanton's would like his defense to give up, especially on first down. This creates an easy situation now for you. You've got a play here you can waste offensively for Utah.
Mendonca at the throttle. Martell Black is the lone running back. Little option play, and they beat him weak side. 40-45 across midfield to the 48-yard line. Quarterback Chris Mendonca. The Lobos shaking up on the play. What'd they do there, Gary? It looked like they went weak side, and it was wide open for them.
Okay, it was an option play. Now, it's the first time they've shown this. In fact, it's the first time I've seen Utah team run an option in years. But there was no containment to the backside. All the eligible receivers are lined up to this side. 47, Torrey Edwards has the containment responsibility, but he just was not looking for an option play.
And Kirk Allen was the injured Lobo on the play. He will come off the field. 10 minutes, 50 seconds to go. A lot of time remaining right now. 21-20. Utah leading New Mexico. First and 10 Utah at the 47. The sweep play picks up about 5. Clifton Smith carrying the ball that time. Tackle by Steve Webster for the Lobos.
You notice how, with the lead, slight as it is, Utah is playing a much more conservative offense, which may not be unwise because of their strength and size advantage on the line of scrimmage.
Second and a little less than 5. Mendonca back to pass. Mady in pursuit, can't get him. Mendonca scrambles, throws upfield, complete. He got the tight end Dennis Smith at the 19-yard line of New Mexico. And the Utes are moving the football. A Lobo down. Musa Kanicki is down and apparently injured at the 43-yard line.
Pressure by Mady. Now Musa Kanicki is up at the top. Chris Mendonca, like Barry Garrison, is establishing himself. He came into this game, both quarterbacks came into this game with question marks about whether they could handle a team after serving their tenures as understudies. But I'll tell you, Chris Mendonca has done a tremendous job for Utah, just as Barry Garrison has for the Lobos.
9:55 to go. There's Kanicki. He'll leave the contest. Had some Lobos shaken up thus far, but no serious injuries. Danny Lara left a while ago. Heber has filled in for him admirably. First and 10 Utah at the Lobo 19-yard line. Mendonca with the run to Martell Black. They stack him up pretty good, but he's so strong that he'll get 3 out of it anyway as he carries Lobo tacklers to the 16-yard line. Looked like they had him, and then he lunged forward and got some valuable yardage on the play.
Brian McCabe was the one who sliced through there to get the first pressure on Martell Black.
Mendonca brings up the Utes. They lead 21-20. Lobos at least would like to hold them to the field goal here. The Utes will pass. Mendonca to scramble. Now they've got him and they bury him for a loss at the 21. Brian McCabe in there with Fred Mady. Good pressure applied that time by New Mexico.
You know, Chris Mendonca has been flattened many more times than Barry Garrison is. Chris Mendonca will remember New Mexico football team, especially their defensive line, when he wakes up in the morning.
Mass defensive changes by the Lobos as they look for the Utes to pass. Utah outside their own 21, third down, and a little less than 12, and we have timeout on the field. 8:43 to go in the fourth quarter. Your score, Utah 21, New Mexico 20. The Utes are threatening.
I know Coors Extra Gold has a bolder taste. And a golder color. But don't tell me that you're a mutt to tell the difference.
Worth a beer?
You're on.
Watch closely, boy.
Is it this one? This one? Unbelievable. Coors Extra Gold. Its golder color means a bolder, heartier taste. I thought bulldogs were colorblind. I mean, schnauzers.
No beer's as bold as Coors Extra Gold.
Excuse me, I'm one of the Clouds who make White Cloud bathroom tissue.
Hi.
Well, we'd like to know why you buy White Cloud. Because it's softer or because it's thicker than any other?
I never bought White Cloud.
My heavens, but surely you've tried it.
I've never tried it.
Well, here, compare White Cloud to the leading brand.
This one is definitely softer. I could tell right away.
Well, it is made by Clouds. But now, compare how 280 sheets of each measure up.
Oh, definitely. This one is thicker.
Therefore?
I think I'm going to try the White Cloud.
Wonderful. But why? Because it's softer or because it's thicker?
Well, I'd be buying White Cloud for both its thickness and its softness.
I see. That's one for softer and one for thicker. Now we're getting somewhere. White Cloud, will you switch because it's softer or because it's thicker?
Zestfully clean.
Zestfully clean.
Soap leaves a sticky film on you that won't rinse away, but Zest rinses you fully clean. You're not fully clean unless you're zestfully clean.
There it is, 8:43 to go in the contest. You can't get much closer than that. 21-20, Utah over New Mexico. Utah has the football at the 21-yard line. We'll call it outside the 21-yard line of New Mexico. Third down and a short 12 if there is such a thing. And Chris Mendonca, the fiery quarterback, brings up Utah. Grimm in motion. They've got him. No, they don't. He throws it away. Fred Mady has been, well, I'll tell you, he's almost like he's been a Siamese twin to quarterback Chris Mendonca. Every time Mendonca looks up, he sees 77
He sees
tonight.
77, you're right. Fred Mady in his 5th start against Utah. Fred has made half a career out of playing Utah and playing them well. He has been a thorn in their side tonight.
The field goal's a big one because the Lobos can't win with a field goal. Scott Lieber has a pair of field goals tonight. Grimm is the holder. Kicks it up there. He got it. That was right between the uprights. 8:32 to go in the ball game now. 24-20. And Utah leading the University of New Mexico.
The challenge to UNM now has increased. They now have to score a touchdown. Now watch this kicker's concentration. Kept his head down. He knows it's there. Utah has had a history of some good kicking specialists.
38-yard field goal, Gary. Mike Snyder is the deep snapper for Utah, and our spotter tonight, Kyle Johnson, is his roommate. So he wanted us to give Mike a big plug on TV, and we'll do that.
He's threatened us with all kinds of things. We didn't mention that tonight.
There's that Lobo sideline. They're concerned. They're down 24-20. Wayne Lomley will tee it up for Utah. Mathis is the deep man. A Lobo touchdown puts them back up on top. The Lobos score, Gary. They might go for 2.
Indeed, they might.
It's a good kick. Mathis will get a shot at it. Terrence at the 10. Here he goes. 20, 25, and dropped there. Terrence Mathis brings it out to the 25 where Barry Garrison will take over the throttle for the Lobos. Making a stop for Utah that time was Dean Whitkin. He led the way, and then he had some help. The Lobos 75 yards away from Pater. 8:25 to go in the football game. Barry Garrison brings up the Lobos. They'll try the right side on the run. Scott Howard, the St. Pius product, gets about 4 yards out to the 29-yard line.
By number 26, Scott Howard.
Good run by Scott. Scott is bigger and stronger than Shane Hall, and I believe that Ed Lambert and Mike Shepard feel that Scott may be able to grind out a few more extra yards than Shane can.
Second and 6 Lobos.
Fourth quarter action. We're under 8 minutes. 24-20 Utah. Lobos trying to drive it down and take the lead again. It's been back and forth all night. Garrison scrambles. He's got a receiver. Tony Jones bobbles it, and the ball is knocked loose. Frank Bonifacio, the freshman, a redshirt freshman, broke up the play.
It is unfair of me to say this, but Barry had Tony Jones right now to drop the ball to him, and he was uncovered. But in scrambling, he waited for the linebacker to recover to him. And Barry knows that to do that play again, he would drop the ball over the line of scrimmage to him as he had planned it originally.
Third down, 6 yards to go for the Lobos. Another big third down. Garrison to pass. The pressure's on. He throws downfield. Duff hits the deck. That'll be an interference call, and a 1st and 10 for the University of New Mexico. Gary, that's the biggest break of the game for the Lobos because Garrison just threw it away. And in the secondary, Greg Smith had no reason to be knocking Duff around.
Well, let me explain what had happened. He checked off at the line of scrimmage. He read blitz. He knew that all receivers are covered 1-for-1, and he also knew that there was going to be no safety. So in that situation, the tight end runs down the middle of the field, which he did. Now, Barry knew he was going to be covered man for man from closer to the line of scrimmage, or there wouldn't be someone waiting for that pass. He was pressured, and he lobbed the ball up there knowing.
Pass interference on the defense. First down.
Knowing there was no free safety.
I'd say this crowd is getting into this football game. 7:39 to go. Lobos trail 24-20. 1st and 10 New Mexico at the New Mexico 41-yard line. Mathis is the receiver to the bottom of your screen. To the top of your screen, Al Owens. Garrison fakes the run. He rolls to his right. He's got a receiver, Duff, complete to the 35 and out of bounds at the 34-yard line. You cannot execute any better than that. First the play fake, freezing the linebackers, and then the rollout and the pass right on the money. Duff never broke a stride.
All right, now this freezes the linebackers, as you said, Jim, the play fake. Now Terrence Mathis at the sideline has run down taking the cornerback, so the tight end is going to be uncovered.
Duff out of Tustin, California. Eric Jacobson rode him. Out of bounds. 1st and 10 Lobos at the Utah 34-yard line. Garrison to Reggie Rogers on the sweep left. Rogers grabbed by the jersey and pulled down Frank Bonifacio, showing why he's starting as a freshman. He ran down the speedy Rogers and slung him to the turf.
Holidays, I hate them. Nobody comes to the office, and where do they go? Silo.
Sunday and Monday only at Silo's Labor Day sale with 5 to 50% off everything. While I'm working, they're loading all those low-priced TVs, VCRs, appliances, and stereos into their disgusting little station wagons. So everything's 5 to 50% off at Silo. So big deal.
Now, who'd go to Silo when they could be here, working for a sweet guy like me?
There's no sale like a Silo sale.
You're gonna love JB's bigger, juicier chicken fried steak dinner, and you're gonna love the price.
Only $3.99.
It's our fresh approach to a longtime favorite. Enjoy chicken fried steak, creamy mashed potatoes, rich country gravy, a dinner roll, and fresh green garden salad. All at JB's, and all for just
$3.99.
For $1 more, enjoy the fresh food buffet. JB's chicken fried steak dinner.
Only $3.99.
Only at JB's.
The tradition continues. KLUZ Channel 41 presents the 1987 New Mexico State Fair Hispanic Heritage Show, complete with the thrills of a Mexican rodeo and performances by Yolanda del Rio, Lorenzo de Monteclaro, Pedrito Fernández, Mariachi Los Galleros de Cornelio Reyna Jr. Tickets on sale now at Tingley Coliseum and Christie Records. 2 shows at 2 and 7 p.m. Sunday, September 13th, Tingley Coliseum.
He's got a receiver, Duff, complete to the 35 and out of bounds at the 34-yard line. You cannot execute any better than that. First the play fake, freezing the linebackers, and then the rollout and the pass right on the money. Duff never broke a stride.
All right, now this freezes the linebackers, as you said, Jim, the play fake. Now Terrence Mathis at the sideline has run down taking the cornerback, so the tight end is going to be uncovered.
Duff out of Tustin, California. Eric Jacobson rode him out of bounds. First and 10 Lobos at the Utah 34-yard line. Garrison to Reggie Rogers on the sweep left. Rogers grabbed by the jersey and pulled down Frank Bonifacio, showing why he's starting as a freshman. He ran down the speedy Rogers and slung him to the turf.
Bonifacio went inside the block to do that. Rogers, had he been able to get one more step, might still be running.
Rogers is a compact back who in practice showed that he can run low to the ground and he can break for the big play. Shane Hall is the lone running back this time. Second down, 12 for the Lobos. Garrison to throw. In the flat, finds Shane Hall with blockers. And he's up to the 34 and sandwiched right there. And it was a sandwich. Piecing it together for Utah, Greg Smith and Lamont Norman.
Now, Utah's defense, let's see some good convergence to the ball after this screen pass. Set up well. Now he's got Luther out in front.
Frank Bonifacio in on that stop as well. Third down and 10 for the Lobos. Biggest play of the game. I think I've said that a number of times on third down. The crowd now making a lot of noise.
No safety. He knows there's no safety.
Garrison is sacked and thrown down. They put the pressure on, and Garland Harris, a 6'1", 215-pound linebacker, had the sack, but a penalty marker is down at the 19-yard line in that area where it could be interference. Well, we might have two flags on the play. Or was it just delay of game, Gary, and the play never went?
Well, that's what they're saying.
Dead ball, delay of game on the offense. Still third down.
In a way, that may be a break.
Well, it definitely is a break for the Lobos. I mean, it was third and long anyway, so now they've got a second chance at it.
In case you're wondering about Walsh and his field goal ability, Gary and I both watched him in practice, and one time in a scrimmage into a hard wind in practice, he hammered a 54-yarder in one scrimmage. So if you can get him 10 yards, he's got a good shot at it. Third down and 15. Another penalty marker.
There's a flag.
Don't like the way this one looks. Illegal procedure, so perhaps the noise making it tough for the offensive lineman to hear the cadence.
The umpire threw the flag, and he watches the
dead
offensive
ball,
line.
Illegal procedure on the offense.
5-yard penalty.
One of the linemen must have drawn his hand up before the others ahead of the snap.
24-20, Utah. 5:22 to go. The Lobos in Utah territory at the 44-yard line. Third down and 20 yards to go. Barry Garrison now. Listen to this crowd. Nearly 30,000. Garrison to throw on the run. Looking downfield. Fires it. Complete for a small gain to John Duff just inside the 40-yard line. And who's there? Guess who? Frank Bonifacio again with the tackle.
This is pass complete to number 84.
Inside the 44th down for the Lobos. You have a number of options here. You can go for it, you can punt, or you can try for the long field goal. Hardly any wind at all right now.
Walsh is going to get a chance.
It'll be a 57-yard attempt, Gary.
Apparently it's an attempt. You know, with the kicking game we've seen, look who's holding the ball. Barry Garrison. Could we see a pass?
Yeah, it's a little quick kick. Here's Darren Hughes to field it at the 15, and he breaks tackles to the 25-yard line and is smothered there. So they didn't quite get the mileage out of that play they hoped for.
That was a different call, wasn't it? See, had they... if he'd have missed the field goal, the defense would have had 20 yards or less to force Utah to score again.
Either team that loses this game, either head coach will be faulted with the way they've both worked on the sidelines strategically.
That's for sure.
There's Mike Shepard. Some of the, or rather the Utah side. Jim Fassel and the gang. First and 10 Utah. Lobos have to stop them here. 24-20 Utah, 4:12 to go. Here's Martell Black with a gain of at least 12 across the 35 to the 37-yard line. Making the stop, Heber for the University of New Mexico.
Now that hurts the defense because not only it gains a first down, keeps the clock running, and the other thing is too, you're getting pushed back on your heels, and you don't want this in that situation.
Brett Heber, as we mentioned, with the stop. He's played the majority of the second half in that secondary and played well, and of course had a big play at the end of the first half to turn away the Utes on a long pass. Here's Black on the left side, and this time the Lobos muscle him down after the gain of just about a yard. Time now becoming a factor with 3:35 and counting remaining. And in a second here, we get a chance, we'll pan over to Mike Shepard. There he is, and then we'll give you a look at that scoreboard. And the Utes want that clock to tick.
Come on now, D, get that ball!
And if you heard what he said, what the mic picked up, you've got to believe in it.
Second down, a long 8 for Utah. Mendonca, he's played well. They got him. Brad Mady dropped him for a loss. Mady has spent as much time in the backfield as Martell Black, a running back for the University of Utah.
And you know what that loss does? Watch Fred slice through and catch him by the heel. Right there. Now what this does is it makes Utah a little nervous. Hey, they're backing up. They're not gaining ground. They're backing up. They got a third down play. Don't turn the ball over here. New Mexico can score.
2:37 and counting remaining in the ball game. Kurt Jones in motion. Mendonca on the third and long. Rolls to his right. Downfield. Area. First down and dropped at the 49-yard line. A big completion. That means a gain of 18 yards and another Ute first and 10. Troy Cluess and Marcel Weiss on the stop.
That may have been the biggest play of the game offensively for the University of Utah, and credit Mendonca's ability to escape containment.
When do you start using your timeouts, Gary?
Well, you're getting down towards 2 minutes. Yeah, you can't let. Well, first of all, when you stop them for a small gain.
All right, first and 10 at the 49. Martell Black left side. The big guy muscles all the way to the Lobo 45. Black, the biggest running back at 6'2", 220 for Utah, and they need his muscle, and they're utilizing it right now.
They certainly are.
Well, however this game ends up, and I don't care if it sounds corny, but the Lobos have nothing to be ashamed of the way they've played here.
They are an improved overall football team.
Not over yet, however. Second down and about 4, and Mendonca, Hetty Sr., pulls the Lobos, who are over anxious, off sides as he changed the cadence. That's just another intelligent move late in the ball game, knowing the Lobos are apprehensive. They want the ball back. We've ticked down to 128, and now here is Jack Baker with a call. Turn that switch on, Jack.
Big Craig Kaminsky, all 280 pounds of him, but he moved that finger. He got that hand on the ground, had a little weight forward, moved that finger, and cost him 5 yards.
Second down. It went against the Utes, not go against the Lobos. Mendonca pulled him off that time, so it worked the last time, but his own man jumped. So this time he went to it, and he got back the 5 yards, I believe. I was incorrect the last time, Gary. I thought he pulled the Lobos off last time. But
looks like they're having an election down there. How many of you guys say this team's off? And they're all raising their hands.
Dead ball, encroachment on the defense.
Makes it second and 4, Utah.
Second down, 4 yards to go. We could just, except for the time that elapsed, just go back and erase the last 2 plays at the line of scrimmage. Mendonca takes the snap, little quarterback keeper, and he won't get too much. Maybe he lunged ahead for a yard. The Lobos had Musa Kanicki leading away, and a host of other white jerseys in there as well.
And the first use of the timeout by the defense.
1:20 to go. If we can, guys, pan to that clock here in a second. Give the fans an idea of how it looks for the Lobos as they trail 24-20.
Second and about 4. What do you tell your defense in this situation? It has to be containment. You have to. What?
Okay. Here we are. Where are you,
Jim?
Here I am. I see
okay,
you.
Rebecca, that'll be home late tonight.
Yeah.
But in this situation, containment, stop the off-tackle play with Black carrying the ball.
Well, I wanted a shot of the clock, guys, but you gave us a nice plug there. We appreciate it. A little bit of concern on that Lobo sideline. You know, time's running out on them.
Tony Jones would like only too well to get their hands on the ball one more time.
There we go. Good work, gentlemen. 24-20. The Lobos look at that. They're down by 4. They played hard and gallantly, and it's been a back-and-forth game. That big stop by the Utes when the Lobos were turned back and had those couple of costly delay of game calls and then the illegal procedure call. A big sequence of plays in a football game. 3rd down now and 2 yards to go for Utah. 43-yard line of New Mexico. 1:20 to go in the game. Mendonca. He drops down on one knee. The Lobos jumped a little bit. We've seen a lot of this here in the final moments of the football game. Start the clock.
Okay.
Okay, they start the clock here.
What they did was call that a down.
All right, it's 4th down then for Utah.
They called it a down.
They just started the... Well, they started the play clock on time as well.
Yes.
We're down to 55 seconds. Utah will punt it away, so the Lobos are going to get a last crack at it. Are we looking at a block attempt here, Gary? They're really stacking them up.
Yeah, we may be. It will take it.
Don Cruz is the punter. Mathis is back deep. Here they come. He gets it away. Hammers it towards Mathis, who calls for a fair catch at the 13. Now, he did that to stop the clock.
That's right. And also because the ball could have rolled towards the goal line, and what you can't have is you can't be pinned on your own 1-yard line, 99 yards to go in a half a minute.
All right, Gary, 37 seconds to go. You're down 24-20. You must have a touchdown. They're going to play that so-called prevent defense, which many experts says will prevent you from winning. So the Lobos will have some, they're going to have some opportunities underneath. Here comes Garrison. Here come the Lobos.
Are you going somewhere?
Garrison dumps it off incomplete. He wanted to screen it to Shane Hall. 2nd down. 10 yards to go for New Mexico.
Shane Hall was looking for a middle screen, and he dumped it out to a wide screen, and I think Barry had called the wide screen because the linemen to lead him were out on the hash mark.
Tony Jones, who has good speed, has joined the offensive unit for the Lobos. Garrison brings him up. There's Barry right there. 31 seconds to go. Utah leading 24-20. Garrison back, looking deep. Fires it over the middle. Complete. Dropped at the 34-yard line. Al Owens, the product of Albuquerque Highland High School.
And without huddling, the Lobos will get off the next play.
24 seconds to go. You got to hurry. Every second is so important. This game is not over.
Clock is stopped until they plant the chains.
There's Garrison again, Gary.
Great protection, stepping into his throw.
All right, back to the action. Garrison straight back. Looking deep. Fires downfield. Didn't get it. It looked like an obvious interception for Garland Harris, but he couldn't hang on. That's a break for the Lobos, but they're down to 13 seconds to go in the game.
Two plays. You need a completion in the area of 20 to 30 yards each time.
13 seconds. 24-20 Utah. Garrison. Wide receivers to each side. Looking deep. Here she goes to Terrence Mathis. Incomplete. We're down to 6 seconds. At this point, that's about all you can do.
And since it has to go the length of the field, or 65 yards, in essence, this will be the last play coming.
Some of the crowd starting to head for the gates.
What you might look for in this case, excuse me, Jim, is something to the middle, something to in the middle of the field, because the defense is not going to let you have an out pattern in order to stop the clock again. And that's where Terrence has been working so well tonight. What it means is Terrence, or whoever catches it in the middle, will have to slip several tackles to get into the end zone.
Mike Henderson, Terrence Mathis, Al Owens all wide out. Utah's offsides. Flags everywhere. They'll have to run the clock back up, I would imagine. You saw Jim Fassel on the sideline. He said earlier this week, this ball game could mean his team's season. You'll recall Utah, his first year, had a miracle campaign. They went 8-4, nearly went to a bowl game, and dropped to 2-9 last year with many of the same players. And so he said this ball game here was so important. It's important to New Mexico as well. but they're a ball club skippered by a new head coach who did not have time to recruit, but who has brought his club in here. And this ball game was back and forth and extremely entertaining. There's Fassel again.
Encroachment on the defense. Still third down.
And this means so much to New Mexico because, as you said, it's like the first date that you'll remember. Your first game, new coach, first conference game, away game.
It's your last play now. 5 seconds to go. The Lobos take off deep. Garrison's going to let her go over the middle. Mathis takes it. He's at the 30. Breaks the tackle. Drops it to 25, and the ball game is over. The University of Utah has beaten the University of New Mexico in the season opener here in Salt Lake City, 24-20. Utah will go to 1-0. The Lobos 0-1. A big whack win as well for the University of Utah. We'll be back and wrap things up in just a moment. Here's Garrison going deep, Gary.
Okay, it was to the middle to Mathis again, as we thought. Now, he would have to slip a couple of tackles to make it in the end zone. He does one. There's one, but not a second one. And the clock runs out. You can interpret it a lot of ways. Here's our end zone shot. Now here he is cutting across the middle. Now the prevent defense keeps the safeties up, but he eludes the safety. But in so doing, he gets in the pattern of the linebacker retreating. You can look at it a lot of ways, but I look at this as the clock ran out.
The clock ran out on New Mexico. It was back and forth. The Lobos lose it. We'll be back and wrap it up in a moment from Salt Lake City. Utah beats New Mexico 24-20. Stay with us. We'll be right back from Salt Lake.
Each Labor Day, you walk enough looking for the annual Labor Day carpet sale. Stop. Don't walk another step. Bilco has the largest collection of carpeting in New Mexico. Nearly 1,000 rolls in stock for you to choose from. Don't waste your valuable time and money chasing all over town. Go to Bilco for their fabulous annual Labor Day sale. Bilco will be open this Labor Day weekend, Sunday and Monday, 11 to 5, with a tremendous selection for everyone's budget and taste. Bilco, the better carpet people. 7617 Manal, just east of Pennsylvania.
Sirloin Stockade Smorgasbord. Better than any salad bar, 'cause full main dishes are a part of each day's smorgasbord. Italian dishes, Mexican, Oriental, American favorites, barbecue chicken, different dishes daily. Sirloin Smorgasbord includes soups, salads, hot foods, desserts, all you can eat. Just $4.49. $4.49. There's only one smorgasbord. It's at Sirloin Stockade Family Restaurants, 3 in Albuquerque and in Santa Fe, Gallup, Grants, and Hobbs.
What drove Neil Woolman, Holly Phillips, Wayne Webb, and Albert Garcia to Moriarty? It's not cute gimmicks, and it's not a bunch of baloney. It's Tillery's You're the Dealer sale this weekend. We'll post the factory invoice on every new vehicle and NADA wholesale on every used vehicle. You decide the price, you decide the profit, you decide what's fair. No reasonable offer will be refused. It's really very simple. Cars and trucks are like eggs. They're cheaper in the country. So come on out to Tillery Chevrolet GMC in Moriarty, where the deals are.
You know, it's so easy now to find the lowest price on beer, thanks to 7-Eleven's low price guarantee. It's a simple guarantee, but here's their attorney to read it.
Heretofore and henceforth, the party of the first part hereafter described
Look,
as...
if you find a lower advertised price...
of local origin...
on any 12-pack of premium beer at 7-Eleven, bring in the ad, they'll match the price. Real tough.
7-Eleven, where the good things come easy.
Void in North Dakota.
You just had to say it, didn't you?
Holidays, I hate them. Nobody comes to the office, and where do they go? Silo.
Sunday and Monday only at Silo's Labor Day sale with 5 to 50% off everything. While I'm working, they're loading all those low-priced TVs, VCRs, appliances, and stereos into their disgusting little station wagons. So everything's 5 to 50% off at Silo. So big deal.
Now, who'd go to Silo when they could be here, working for a sweet guy like me?
There's no sale like a Silo sale.
Hello, everybody. We're back here at Rice Stadium, Salt Lake City, Utah tonight. The University of Utah beat New Mexico 24-20. Lobos were on top 14-10 at the half. It was back and forth the whole ball game from the gun till the finish. And the Lobos went down with Mathis coming within a tackle of perhaps winning the ball game on a downfield reception and an opportunity to take it in and win that contest. Gary, Lobos have a lot to be proud of in their debut under Mike Shepard.
Oh, indeed they do. You just hope they don't get too disheartened by this loss. They showed a good defense. I was impressed. Let's give Utah some credit, too. They had to come back. Look at how many times they had to come back. And then still it was a tackle away from being a Lobo victory. But the Lobos played much more consistently, both offensively and defensively. No turnovers. I don't remember a turnover in the game. First outing, Barry Garrison shows a lot of leadership. So does Fred Mady. What a game he played. And what about Terrence Mathis? And one of the most exciting football players in the United States. So there's a lot to be proud of, a lot to build on.
Let's get the report card out. Let's grade Barry Garrison. What would you grade him?
Well, I'd A+. In my wildest expectations, I know Barry was ready to prove himself as a quarterback, a college quarterback, one who could lead his team. But there were virtually no mistakes. I mean, and his leadership, his cool, his ability to recognize at the line of scrimmage, change plays. What a job he did. I maybe sound too complimentary, but those things take a lot of work and a lot of learning.
A lot of people would say, hey, what are you guys talking about? The Lobos lost the ball game 24-20. There's so many things, though. The Lobos did well tonight. We'll see you in Las Cruces next Saturday night. I'm Jim Lawwell along with Gary Ness saying so long. We want to tell the crew, good job, guys. Heck of a job with those camera shots.